Ladies, if you misbehave, you got to come to the timeout room and you're going to get paddled. My beautiful African queens, my butter almond and butter pecan, my caramel, my guave, my chocolate fudge, my African buttercream, my pina colada, my caramel, my cinnamon, my nutmeg queens. If you misbehave, you got to come and get 3 strokes. Oh, yes, with the RBG paddle.
All right, thank you guys so much for tuning on in. We got a lot to get into. Shout out to everyone in the Cookie Crush chat. Black Morrow, that's y'all's principle.
That's y'all's principle.
All right, already having technical. Let's go.
Every time I turn around, there's another paint day going down. Another speech, another grand plan, another promise that began. Talking real big, talking real tall, got an answer for it all. Everybody looking to see how this story ends, wondering if the school ever opening. One day it's this, next day it's that. Everybody laughing in the Cookie Crush chat. Is this the man that claims to be the boss? Every conversation turns into a cookie-free call. Ooh, the mold keeps growing. Ooh, the grass need mowing. Ooh, FDMG keeps rolling on. The Charles Principal. The Charles Principal. The one who's paddling your mom. That Charles Principal. Every week another big reveal. Every donation is money he steals. Oh, that Charles Principal. Everybody singing while the groove rolls on, trying to figure out what's going on. Always an excuse for the school's delay, a different explanation every single day. A cell phone and a park is all he needs when he should be applying for jobs on Indeed. The chat starts booming, the memes start flying. He starts screaming and you know he's lying. Scrubbing toilets, painting mold. Every year this story's getting old. Losing donors day by day. All donations increase his pay. Ooh, the mold keeps growing. Ooh, the grass need mowing. Ooh, FDMG keeps rolling on. That's y'all's principal. The one who's paddling your mom. That's y'all's principal. Every week another big reveal. Every donation is money he steals. Oh, that's y'all's principal. Everybody singing while the groove rolls on, trying to figure out what's going on. Now somebody asks one question and somehow gets a 30-minute lesson. Somebody tell me, is this your guy? 14 years and running with this lie. Cookie Crush chat, break it down. Is that him? Is that him? That's him. Is that another live stream? That's him. That's him. Is that another speech? That's him. That's him. Is that another explanation? That's him. Well, all right then, Charles Principal. The one everybody knows by name. That Charles Principal. He keeps rolling on, and somehow the life's still holding strong. That Charles Principal. Bedtime and a baseline smooth, everybody laughing and feeling the groove. That Charles Principal. That Charles Principal.
All right, thank you guys again for tuning on in. I had technical issues to start, but I think we're good now. Let me know, everyone, how is the audio quality and how is the video quality? Hopefully everything is good. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning on in. Everyone inside the Cookie Crush chat, I appreciate y'all. We had a wonderful show yesterday. In fact, it was a classic. Every once in a while we have an instant classic, and definitely yesterday was something to behold. I want to thank you guys. We had a wonderful time. I also uploaded a video, kind of like I took some liberties of editing down what we kind of talked about yesterday, and I uploaded it for everyone today. If you haven't checked it out, check it out when you get some time. Today, what we're going to focus on, well, there's two things. There's a video I want to get into from August 7th of 2026. I think this was when Umar was over in the UK. He was being interviewed. I think this is an excellent example of Umar with his narcissism. He loves to talk about himself. And there's points where Umar gets into this mode. You can even hear it in his vocal tones, inflections, where he starts to talk about himself and he's self-aggrandizing and making himself appear to be more important than he is. That's part of the narcissism. Narcissists, they tend to have a view of themselves that is inflated because their ego is so inflated. So what we're going to watch today is I think it's a preeminent example of Umar when he gets into this mode of really attempting to paint himself as some sort of a great Black leader who has all of this power and influence. This is an excellent example of it. You guys will see this in full display. The other thing I want to share with you guys, and we'll do this first, is Umar, he did a live stream, a very brief live stream up at the Trap Bandos today. How many of y'all knew that hit the one? Very brief live stream at the Trap Bandos. And I told people what was going to happen. I told people this was exactly what was going to happen. There's two reasons why he did this. First of all, because yesterday we showed Brother Enterprise's most recent tour of these bandos. We showed that yesterday, okay, footage. And the buildings look horrible on both sides of the street, horrible. So no, renovations are not complete. So Umar goes up there and you can tell he's upset. Okay, I think this is one of his ways. He's trying to figure out a way, okay, how can I make people, because he knows people going to watch the video. And people have been talking about it, about how bad these bandos look. So he goes up there. But there's another reason, and I called this before, and I told people that, and this is a pattern that I recognize with Umar. When he gets on big platforms, they pay him. Okay, Breakfast Club, I don't think they pay, but platforms like Big Loon, platforms like even bigger platforms like the Breakfast Club, or the Art of Dialogue, well, there's quite a few, but the point is that normally what happens is that Umar gets a lot of attention, but he also gets money. And the money for FDMG is not coming in like it used to. We've been talking about that recently, how Umar focuses on what he can get the most amount of money in at any given time, money out of. So if he focuses on the school, he gets the most money out of school, he'll focus on that. If he gets more money off of doing these podcasts, he's going to focus on that. That's why we've rarely seen him go up there at these Trap Bandos this year. Very few times where he's live streamed up there. He did one today, but it's very brief. The thing is this, that Umar has to continue to try to promote FDMG to get money. Okay, he has to do that. But he's mainly focused on getting onto podcasts because they're paying him. Now, what happens is he gets paid and he runs through the money. And once he runs through the money, he smokes it up. Let me just be real about it. He smokes it up. And then he doesn't have anything on the schedule. So he has to go back up there to these bandos to go beg more. And that's what he did today. And I called it. I told people that that's exactly what's going to happen after this Art of Dialogue interview. And that's what happened today. It's happened in the past. I've called it. This is a pattern of behavior with Umar. They pay him out. He get that money. He goes smoke it up. And then after, because he needs to get some more money, he goes up there to the Trap Band. He wasn't worried about FDMG for a long time now, right? He hadn't been up there live streaming in a long time. That's because he was focusing on doing these podcasts. But see, let me show y'all something right quick. This is further evidence that proves my case. Okay, this is a screenshot of the video that he did today. See, the only reason he ain't up there doing nothing, he ain't doing nothing. The reason why he's up there is because he's begging for money. And look what it says there. Look at his schedule. He has Columbia, South Carolina on the 13th, August 13th. He has Kingston, Jamaica, August 17th. Cincinnati, Ohio, August 20th. Nat Turner Land, Virginia, August 21st. That's for Nat Turner Day. And in Dublin, Ireland, September 3rd. He don't got much going on. But look what it says right under that. Donate today. See, between now and him going to Kingston, Jamaica, he has 6 days. He has one event where he's probably going to make some money, but he needs money because he already done smoked through the money that he got off of the Art of Dialogue. So that's why he goes back up there. He puts his schedule up there But he also puts up there, donate today, PayPal me, FDMG Academy. And he puts his P.O. box in Wilmington, Delaware for people to send him checks and money orders, cash to his P.O. box. I called this and I told people that this was exactly what's going to happen. And here we are today. And it happened just like I called it, because he's done this so many times in the past. So I want people to be clear about this, that Umar, when he goes up there, he doesn't have any updates to share with people. He doesn't have anything to tell people of consequence concerning these trap banners in Wilmington. No, he goes up there because he needs money. See, he's living donation to donation, event to event, and the next event is in 2 days. He needs money before that time. Now, let's watch the video, shall we? It's a brief video. It really serves no purpose other than being a placeholder for donate today, PayPal me, FDMG Academy. It's also a placeholder to give the illusion that Umar Johnson is making progress. And then when people see this, they're more willing to donate. And he uses these abandoned buildings in Wilmington, Delaware, not as schools for children, but as a prop, a background prop, like it's in his background, to get money out of people. And that's why he has on there, donate today. Okay, this happens every single time. I called it, and here we are. Let's watch the video. And it's short. We'll watch the video, and then we're going to get to the video that I was planning on getting into today. Thank you guys for tuning on in. Our goal for likes today is 400. So if at any point you're enjoying the show, hit that like button. We did fantastic yesterday too, by the way. Thank you guys, everyone who hit that like button. The poll question is, how much FDMG donation money has Umar Johnson spent on clothes, shoes, hats, and accessories since 2014? And we're just going with 2014 because that's when Umar started raising money for the St. Paul school scam. He was receiving donations prior to that. Okay, I've already proven that inside the documentary, but we're going to go with 2014, which would mean over the course of 12 years, how much money do you guys think that Umar Johnson has spent on clothes, shoes, hats, and accessory? Yeah, we can throw in hair dye too. But the reason why I'm bringing this up, well, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, understand that Umar Johnson doesn't have a job. He's not a school psychologist. He hasn't worked as a school psychologist since 2010, 2011. He still tells people that he does. No, he's not a school psychologist. He's not a school principal. He doesn't have a job. So notice that whenever Umar live streams, and he live streams quite often, okay, or at least let's just look at his Instagram page. He live streams, he takes pictures and photos that are uploaded on there whenever he's traveling. How often do we see Umar wearing the same clothes? Think about it. How often do we see Umar wearing the same clothes? It's very rare. I mean, it's very rare. So we can ask the question, where is he getting the money from? Because he don't have a job. Where's he getting the money from to purchase all these clothes, all these new clothes over and over again? Dashikis, fitted caps, Nikes, jeans, right? Dashiki pants, the accessories, the necklaces, you know, the wrists, whatever he be having on his wrist, so forth and so on. Where does he get the money for that? Well, it's donation money for FDMG. He doesn't have a job. So I want to make this point because it's an important point. That most of the money that Umar Johnson has received over the years, he's spent on himself. And a lot of that money has gone towards him purchasing clothes. And I'm going to tell you guys something I think about Umar. I think, and this is just me because I've researched Umar his whole life, and I'm working on a documentary to cover his whole life. And what I think is that Umar Johnson, because he's not cleanly, he doesn't clean. I've already provided proof of this. He's a hoarder. Literally, he's a hoarder, and he's filthy. What I think is that Umar, because he has received so much money, millions of dollars for FDMG, that what he does is that he'll wear some clothes, and then he just stacks them up. And we've seen that when he flipped the phone in his mama's closet. But instead of washing clothes, he just goes and buys more. So he likes to shop. Again, the question we got to go back to is, where does he get the money to shop? He doesn't have a job. What's FDMG donation money? Now, one could argue he's also getting money for these speaking engagements, or he's also getting money for these podcasts. Yes, that's true. But overwhelmingly, the money that Umar Johnson has received over the last 12 years has come through donation money for FDMG, literally millions of dollars at this point. He's not making millions of dollars from these ticky-tack speaking engagements or for doing the art of dialogue. They're going to break him off a little something, but you notice how he does that interview. He goes, smokes it up, and then he's right back up here, like I called it, looking bummy and looking smoked out, begging for money. So that's not it, okay? Him doing speaking engagements on the Chitlin circuit is not it. Him doing the art of dialogue is not it. Yeah, he's going to come up off a little something, but nothing significant. Nothing like compared to what he's been getting for these trap bandos in Wilmington, Delaware that he calls FDMG. He calls them schools, literally millions of dollars. He has to be around $3 million by now, somewhere around $3 million by now and counting. Okay, so I want to be clear about this to tie all of this together. That I think that Umar Johnson, he buys clothes and instead of washing them to wear them again, he just throws them in, in a corner because he's a hoarder and he forgets about them and he goes buys new ones. That's a lot of money going just to clothes. So the poll question again, how much FDMG donation money has Umar Johnson spent on clothes, shoes, hats, and accessories since 2014? 10% said $20,000 to $30,000. 5% said $30,000 to $40,000. 13% says $40,000 to $50,000. And 71% said more than $50,000. And I wanted just to put this into perspective. Let's go with the figure of $30,000, $30,000, and we're going to divide $30,000 by 12. That's about $2,500 a year. Umar spends way more than that on clothes, dashikis, necklaces, jeans, Nike shoes, fitted caps, the sports attire, the jackets and all that stuff. Way more than $2,500. And then let's go to $50,000. We're going to divide that by, wait a minute, who we at? 2004. Yeah, we're going to divide that by 12. That's about $4,166 a year in clothes. Could Umar be doing that? Okay, that's the poll question. Okay, and go on and get your vote in during this live stream. And again, the goal for today is 400 likes. All right. Okay, before we get into the first video, this is Umar up there at these trap bandos. Let me get caught up on these super chats right quick. TJ says, did Umar have his 2 cans of sardines today? He probably did. Yesterday's show was wild. I was not expecting that at all. Okay, is my audio okay? Let me know. I was not expecting that at all. And the thing is that Umar has a long history of just talking very reckless, like extreme pornographic talk. That if you are a school principal, if you are a school psychologist, if you are the most requested scholar, if you're this great black leader, you shouldn't be talking like that. But he gets a pass. It's interesting because in social media, people get a pass on a lot of things. People can really be out here causing harm and being destructive and talking reckless and in Umar's case, sexualizing children, and they get a pass for some reason. Our dialogue still has him on. I get it. He gonna get our dialogue gonna make a grip. I get it. Breakfast Club, they'll have him on. Big Luna have him on. So people get a pass on this stuff. But if you guys really listen to what Umar talks about, most of what he talks about, well, I'll say this, that it's disparaging towards black people, but secondarily, he's talking about sex, something related to sex. And it's always some perverted type of sexual conversation with this guy, whether it is he's talking about women or he's talking about other men or he's talking about children. And yet he gets a pass for some reason. Okay. Thank you, TJ. TJ also says, question, how far is the rabbit hole for Umar? I don't know. I really don't know. What I've talked about in the past is that what we know about Umar is really just the tip of the iceberg that plays itself out mainly on social media. Now, I've done research outside of social media too. That's evident inside of the documentary. And other people have too. That's evident outside of the documentary. But in terms of the historical record, when it comes to videos, when it comes to even Umar being interviewed, like audio interviews, that just represents the tip of the iceberg dealing with Umar, because that's what plays out on social media for the world to see. And I've always argued this, and I think that it's a fair argument, that what you see on social media with people like Umar or Jay Morrison or Polite, see, or even Nature Boy, which is kind of like maybe he's the exception. What you see play out on social media is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of their deviancy. That's what they're willing to show online. All this crazy stuff that Umar talks about and all the foolishness all the scandals that he's been involved in, all the talking about sex and all this other stuff with this guy dealing with strippers. That's just the tip of the iceberg that plays itself out on social media, which is a very small fraction of the totality of what Umar Johnson does day by day. What I would propose, and I think it's fair, I know it's fair, is that Umar Johnson has way more dirt offline than he has online. And that's telling, because he got a gang of dirt online. We all know that. So this is to say, I don't know how far it goes. I just know that what we have gotten to, and what my research has shown, and other people's research on has shown, not just in terms of his digital fingerprint, but also in the real world stuff that's going on with Umar. It's just we've just gotten to the tip of the iceberg. That most of what Umar Johnson has done, we don't know about. I'm talking about the deviant stuff, scandals, the exploitation of these younger women. See, there's a lot of those out there. A lot of them, they don't want to come forward to talk because they're afraid. And I get it. But see, that I just have to say that allows Umar to continue to do what he's going to do. I'm telling you, everything's going to catch up to Umar at some point. It already has. See, that's why in 2026, after raising millions of dollars, he's reduced himself to going up there and standing in front of these mold-infested buildings in a crime-infested neighborhood to beg for money after raising millions of dollars. By the way, did you guys know that there was another shooting up there in Wilmington, Delaware? And it's less than a mile away from these abandoned buildings. You want to go there first? Mind you, there's a supermax prison down the street from these trap bandos. Give me 1 second. I totally forgot to, for some reason, I told myself, yeah, make sure you cue this up, but let's get into it now. We can get it out the way. Okay, and James told me that the interview we're going to get to is not in the UK. That it took place when Umar came to Harlem for the World Federation Conference. Okay, and it was July 15th of 2026. Okay, thank you for the correction, sir. Okay, thank you so much. And it was uploaded August 7th. Okay, thank you so much. It's from July 15th of 2026. That's going to be the main video we get to today. Okay, I stand corrected. Thank you. What was I looking? Let's see here. Here it is right here. Okay. Let me do a screen share and I'll just read it to you guys. There's a video here too, but we don't have to watch the video. It's not necessary. Let me get this up on the screen. Again, when the year prior to Umar acquiring these trap bandos, Wilmington was classified as 6th in the nation for violent crime per capita. They called it Murder Town, USA. I don't know if they still call it that. Why would you purchase a trap bando right in the middle of that? But let me pull this up right quick. Do a screen share. All right, here we go. Oh, give me 1 second. Let me get out of the screen. Okay. All right. Let me read this to you guys real quick. This is Delaware. This is 10 Philadelphia. It says it's an active drug house. Police investigate after 4 shot in Wilmington, Delaware. A large police presence was at the scene early Tuesday after at least 4 people were shot at the intersection of East 10th and North Spruce Street in Wilmington, Delaware. This is less than a mile away from where these trap bandos are located, everybody. Less than a mile away. This was published August 11, 2026 by Hayden Mittman, Lily Zhang, Brian Sheehan, and David Chang. Okay, you guys can look this up yourself if you want to. I'll put a link in there too inside of the chat room in just a moment. Gloria King, 53, was one of 4 people struck in a quadruple shooting in Delaware. She spoke with NBC's Brian Sheehan about the shooting. I won't read that now. You guys, if you want to take some time, you can check that out later. Okay. It says a large police presence could be seen in Wilmington, Delaware, after at least 4 people were shot in an incident that happened on Tuesday morning. At the scene at about 6:30 a.m. on Tuesday, officers could be seen investigating the area and blocking off the roadway at the intersection of East 10th and North Spruce Street in Wilmington, Delaware. You guys go look that up. You can go look that up and then put in the address for FDMG. It's less than a mile away. I looked it up. In a radio call that went out at about 5:52 a.m., police reported initially that at least 3 people had been shot at the intersection. A radio call shortly after the first, the first reported a radio call shortly after the first, meaning the first call, reported a 4th victim had been injured in the incident. Okay, and then who was injured? And it says right here, a 23-year-old man, a 40-year-old man, a 49-year-old man, and a 53-year-old man. Okay, I want to share this with you guys. This is another example because there was another shooting that took place, I think it was about two weeks ago, that was close to these abandoned buildings. But this one right here is literally, it's less than a mile from these trap bandos in Wilmington, Delaware. Here's the link. If you guys want to go look this up yourself, you're welcome to do so. And then I'm going to go and confirm real quick. So the intersection of East 10th and North Spruce Streets in Wilmington, Delaware. I'm going to go ahead and type this into Google. And then I'm going to go on to Maps. And there it is right there. Looks like there's a barbershop near there. All right. And then I'm going to click directions. And then I'm going to put in the address of these trap bandos in Wilmington. And it's a 3-minute drive, 0.8 miles away. So less than a mile away. Okay. I want to share that with you. Someone sent me this information. I said, oh, yeah, I'll definitely share it. All right. So even the purchase for, why would you take $400,000 to purchase these trap bandos in Wilmington, Delaware? The year prior, it was ranked 6th in the nation per capita for violent crime. They call it Murder Town, USA. It makes no sense whatsoever. And then he's going to charge children $500 a month, their parents $500 a month to attend an unaccredited school. Make it make sense. Okay. All right. Thank you, TJ. DJ Rex Shot sent in 2 jewels. It says 100. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Enterprise says, I'm up there more than this bum. He up there because my video further exposed his, you're absolutely right, further exposed his lies and fraud. Hi, Umar, you cyber bum. Hashtag sardines man jaw. Yeah, he has to go up there because you went up there and showed what the thing looked like, the bandos look like. So what is he going to do? He has to go back up there. And that's why I'm going to show you guys in just a minute. When he goes up there, you can tell he's not happy. He don't even want to go up there. Listen, FDMG is a failure. It was a failure back in 2019. It was a failure back in 2014. But it's been over 7.5 years since he acquired. Man, that's wild. 7.5 years since he acquired these trap bandos, and not one black child's been educated. It's a failure. And he's lied to people over and over again about renovations being complete. They're not complete. Even today, they're not complete. But he's going to continue to run with the lie and make excuse after excuse why he can't get the certificate of occupancy. He doesn't want to go up there. You guys remember in 2019, Umar would be so excited going up there and kind of showing off and all this stuff. It still looked like trash, but at least you can tell Umar was motivated back then. In 2020, same thing. 2021, same thing. But here we are in 2026. He ain't been up there in the total amount of days, different days, I should say, that he's been up there to live stream. It's like maybe 7 now, 7 or 8 times. That's like on average, it's about once a month he goes up there. Whereas back in the day, he would be up there doing tours, having people come through and pretending like he's getting stuff done. He don't do that. He don't want to be up there. But because of the video that Enterprise did that we covered yesterday, Umar has no choice. He has to go up there. It shows you a couple of things. It shows you that Umar Johnson is reactionary. He's not proactive. And that's why he's still sitting on these trap bandos at 7.5 years later. There's no excuse for that. He's raised plenty of money to get something started, but he's not proactive. He's lazy. He likes to sit back in the cut. He likes to travel the world and go shopping and shit and run through these women. That's what Umar likes to do. And sitting in mama closet and watch scary movies because that's his hobby, and take naps. That's his hobby. He said it. What kind of man at 51 got kids talk about his hobby as taking naps and watching horror movies in his mama closet in Section 8 housing and don't got a job or legitimate business. And like I said, Umar wouldn't even have to do all this stuff if he knew how to deal with social media. He wouldn't even have, he'd be making good money. No need to do all this scamming and skeezing. But he's lazy. He has no work ethic. He's not dependable. Think of all the stuff he said he was going to do. February of 2019. in a school announcement video. And look at all the things he didn't do, and still begs and disrespects his donors. And I need. He's reactionary. I'm going to tell y'all that if we hadn't been doing these videos on Umar, half of the stuff that he's done since he acquired these trap banners in February of 2019, he wouldn't even have bothered. And so yesterday, when we show Enterprise's video, Umar, he has no choice. He's reactionary. He has to go up there. It shows you also that he's watching. He may be watching right now. What's up, Umar? It's been a long time, homeboy. You was big and bad back in the day, wasn't you? Talking all that shit like you tough. You ain't tough. You so marshmallow. You have no clue. But see, you like to play like these little roles. You know, that's your problem. You don't know who you are. Someone send me this up, man. That's a great song too. Yeah, I got work to do. They sent me another one. Yeah. You don't even know who you are. You are pretending. But one day you're a school psychologist, you dressing in suits. The next day you King Kong consciousness, a fake thug with the SETI ramp. Anyway, yeah, you're right. That's the reason why. This is one of the reasons why he has to go back up there. And I'm gonna show you guys just a moment. He doesn't want to go up there. He don't even want to be bothered with that mess anymore. He don't get the type of money that he used to get off of it. But he has to go up there now because of what we showed yesterday. Shout out to Enterprise. Yep. Thank you, sir. Homewood Baby TV sent in 10 jewels. Thank you so much. It says gold coin. Thank you so much for the gold coin. I appreciate it. Black Mara says, if the school is finished, like he said, why does he keep asking for donations? Exactly. We watched a video yesterday where he says, what was it? August 11th, which is exactly 3 years ago. August 11th, 2023, Umar stated that the school was done, that the renovations were complete. It was exactly 3 years ago today. But then I played another video from a week later, and Umar's asking for donations, and he slips up and he says, donations for renovations. Yeah, but I thought you said renovations were done a week prior. See? That's back in 2023. In 2024, he's on a Breakfast Club, and he's lying on there talking about the school is open. And then here we are in 2026. He given twice this year, he stated that renovations were complete. But if they're complete, why is he still asking for donations then? Right? Yeah. Renovation ain't complete. He ain't nowhere close. It's just a long con. It's a scheme. It's a scam. That's all it is. Thank you, Black Morrow. Salute, sir. Lewis Luck says these shows wouldn't be paying Umar because he's not really famous. He would have to pay to get on or do it for free exposure. These on-air personalities take payola, even though it's illegal. Yeah, that happens too, but I'm not saying all of them. For instance, I don't think that the Breakfast Club pays people. I think I've actually heard them say that they don't pay people. So I don't think Umar, but he does get a lot of exposure. In fact, the Breakfast Club helped Umar. He acknowledges that they helped to blow him up, especially in the quote unquote rap community, if you will. I don't know if that's the proper term, but people who are, they follow the hip hop stuff. But Big Loon, I think Big Loon pays him, and I think that one goofy, I can't remember his name. He had Umar on there recently. He had him on there before. I can't remember the guy's name, but he had like 15 subscribers before he got Umar on there and was getting like 10, 15 views on his videos. I think he pays him. I think Big Loon pays him too. But I don't think all of them pay him. He does get exposure when he goes on the bigger podcasts like Joe Budden, because he's been on there. I think that they paid him too. He was on the young lady that's on the Joe Budden podcast. She had her own podcast before it had Umar. He was talking reckless in that one. Just crazy. She says she paid him too. So I think he does get paid. I just don't think that he gets paid consistently enough to where it's enough for him to live, because he doesn't do that many podcasts consistently. See, and then when the podcasts slow down, he goes back to trying to get speaking engagements, and they're not paying him much either. These are grassroots organizations. They don't got tens of thousands of dollars to pay out to Umar. He even admitted it. He does a lot of them for free, but for him, They give him room and board. They might give him a little stipend and money to go get some food. He's homeless, so they put him up in a hotel, motel. That's good living for him. They get him a rental car while he out there. He crushed some cookies and then come on back to his mama closet. It's like a vacation. You guys do realize that Umar, he's on a perpetual vacation. The speaking trips, that's perpetual vacation. The podcast where he goes to other places to talk, that's a perpetual vacation for Umar. He ain't doing no work. What work is he doing outside of running his mouth? When he goes over to the UK, what is he doing? He's on vacation. He go run his mouth a little bit. He get a couple bucks. They give him some food. They put him up in a hotel motel room, and then he run through a couple of them women, and then he come back to his reality in his mama closet. See, the reality is his mama closet, but his vacation is getting outside of that. And who would want to be living in Section 8 when your mama house in Section 8 housing at the age of 51? With you ain't got no vehicle, you ain't got no wife, the kids don't like you. That's a sad case. So yeah, all this other stuff that he can do, it's escapism. And people say, oh no, he's raising up the content. He ain't raising up shit. He going on vacation. This guy be on vacation. Listen, Umar be on vacation at least 11 months out of the year. At least. Oh, but he's opening up a school. No, he's not. You can't open up no school on vacation 11 months a year. I didn't say 11 months. I said months. Anyway, I was going off a little bit, little such. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Thank you for the super chat. He be on. That's what he do. He be on vacation begging. How you gonna go on vacation and beg? That don't make no sense. He begged to go on vacation, and then when he on vacation, he keep begging. You should be happy to be on vacation. When's the last time I went on vacation? PTO? That's not vacation. Anyway, let me stop. Thanks, Louis Luck. Homewood Baby TV sent in 30 jewels. It's a flower. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I can use a flower right now. I was going off. Mac sent in 2 jewels and a silver star. Thank you. I appreciate that, J Mac. What's up, Daxter? Says Funk Master Manjaw Files Part 16. Okay, yeah, Manjaw File. What was the other one we called it yesterday? I can't remember what the fish is called. Umar said he eats 2 cans of, not tuna, 2 cans of sardines. People were calling Umar sardine jaws, but we're not going to get into that right now. Okay, thanks, Daxter. Jay Civic says, and remember, because he set up his 501c3 filing in Delaware allows him to only have 1 board member. Yeah. If it was Florida, he would be required to have at least 3 board members to track the money. Yeah, you actually told us about that quite some time ago. So just to be clear, Umar sets this up. It's through Delaware. And he actually admits that because there was some confusion about this. He sets it up in Delaware. He says it in February of 2019 with the school announcement video. But the previous 501c3, the EIN number that was associated with the nonprofit, he filed that out of Philly, if memory serves me correctly. Yeah, it was Philly because he had a P.O. box in Philly back in the day. And then Pennsylvania, they issued a cease and desist and told him that he can't collect donations using that P.O. box. In essence, he's not supposed to be collecting donations in Pennsylvania. Okay, and he was using that P.O. box, and so he switches over to using the one in Delaware. Delaware is very lax when it comes to these types of things. You know, setting up a 501c3, setting up a LLC, these types of things. So the point is that, and this is what Jay Civic is referencing here, is that in Delaware, he only has to have 1 board member, and he's the only board member. That's why if you look at his paperwork, his filing with the IRS, it'll show you, it'll show how many board members, and it's just him. So he's in control of everything, the finances, he's the books, right? He's in control of I guess, the direction of this project, even though it's directionless. He's in control. I mean, he's in control of everything. He doesn't have a team. This is a huge point in this whole scam. Let me go back in time. Back in 2000, it was the spring of 2014, when Umar Johnson did the video at St. Paul's College, and someone on Facebook they sent me a message and they says, what do you think about this? And I had heard about Umar from the Hidden Colors thing, I never watched any, but I heard about him through because he was associated with Hidden Colors going back to starting in 2011. He was in Hidden Colors 1, 2, and 3. But by the time we get to 2014, I'd heard about him, but I hadn't looked into, I don't know, FDMG, all this other stuff. No, because that goes back way, way before 2014. But the point I want to make is that when he's walking around in that video, I noticed something. And when he was talking in that video, I noticed something too. First of all, it was just him. He didn't have a team there with him. And as he's walking around talking about what he wants to do, he doesn't have a plan. He's just winging it. And he's asking for money for a project when he doesn't have a business plan, he doesn't have a team, he doesn't have a professional recording, someone to come out to like really put together a project, like this, to put together a video that really is reflective of someone who's serious about a project of this magnitude. Remember, this was supposed to be a boarding school for boys and girls on a college campus. But Umar has somebody come through and they get drone footage and then they record Umar while he's walking. Let me show you real quick. The point I want to make is that back then I knew that something wasn't right, and I said, no, it doesn't sound right. It looks like it's a scam because he doesn't have a plan. He doesn't have a plan. He doesn't indicate as he's speaking. He's not revealing what his plan is, what his curriculum is or curricula is going to be. He doesn't have a team there with him, and it's like he's just walking, going about his business, making up anything. Look.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Umar Johnson, and I am a school psychologist and doctor of clinical psychology. In addition to that, I hold degrees in political science and education.
I mean, even as how he's dressed, he has on a dress shirt with a tie, but then he got these jeans on that look like slaves used to wear them back in, I don't know.
I am here at the historic St. Paul's College.
Yeah, he's
this beautiful campus, 135 acres of which I hope to make the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey RBG.
Yeah, listen to the language too. And I wasn't picking this up back then, but he's saying, I hope to make. See, if you have a clear plan, you're going to be saying things in the affirmative. You can look out for this with Umar.
International Leadership Academy for African Children. This college, St. Paul's, was opened on September the 24th, 1888, by a contemporary of the great Booker T. Washington. That great ancestor's name was James Solomon Russell. Father Russell opened this college with less than a dozen students. And by the time it reached its zenith, St. Paul's College.
Yeah, think about this. This is a college campus. Umar can't even get stuff done after 7.5 years for one building. Can you imagine if he had acquired this? And he never had any intention on it. He was lying about all that too. Talking about he put in the bid. He didn't put in no bid. The starting bid was $2.5 million.
Owned more than 1,000 acres of land and housed more than 1,000 African children. But unfortunately,
they weren't African children, black children.
Last summer, June of 2013, the board of directors of this college graduated the last class of students from St. Paul's College.
Notice how he says the board of directors. This goes back to the point. Umar doesn't have a board of directors, just him. He doesn't have a team. And he didn't have a team back in 2014. And he doesn't have a team in 2026.
I'm hoping that you will help me keep this college in the hands of the African American community. I have a plan for this campus. I want to turn this campus.
See, look at all these buildings. He can't even get one building done. Look at this. He couldn't even get a gym done. What is he going to do with all of this?
I want to turn this campus into the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. There's a war in this country against black boys. I don't have to tell you, only 1 out of every 4 African American boys will graduate from high school. I don't have to tell you that 2 out of every 4 African American boys at some point in his life will be under the supervision of America's criminal justice system.
Yeah, that's not true either. We fact checked that. He'd be making up statistics. That's another problem with this guy. He's supposed to be a scholar, but he'd be making up shit.
I don't have to tell you that there's a school to prison pipeline that runs out the back door of the school into the front door of the prison.
Yeah, mind you, there is a level 5 Supermax prison down the street from these trap battles in Wilmington, Delaware. Let me go pull it up just to get the exact distance, because we covered this years ago. We're going to go to, let me see, Supermax prison in Wilmington, Delaware. Excuse me. It's the Howard R. Yeah, here it is right here. The Howard R. Young Correctional Institution. Let's see. Let's see. It's a level 5 facility in the northeast section of Wilmington, Delaware. All right, let me put this into Google Maps. All right, there it is right there. And then we're going to go the address for FDMG, these trap bandos. Okay, it's less than a mile. Less than a mile. It's a 3-minute drive right now to get there. So the idea, it's just, anyway,
Prison.
Let's go.
I want to stop that. An hour of the school into the front door of the prison. I want to stop that. And I want you to help Dr. Umar Johnson stop that by donating to my fundraiser.
Look at this guy.
By helping me and
this poor quality production. He should have had professionals. If he was really serious, he should have had lawyers on deck. He should have had a PR person on deck. He should have had professionals around him who know how to open up a school, who know the process. Umar doesn't know. He didn't know then. He never has known. He still doesn't know in 2026. That's why when he go up there in 2026, he's looking like this, about as mad as he want to be. There's no joy in this because he don't know what he's doing. See, I think there's a part of Umar, and I think there's a part of Umar that wish he didn't purchase these traps, these bandos. Goofy?
ancestors raised the money necessary to acquire St. Paul's campus. We need this 135 acres for
who's we?
Our children. We have the dormitories. We have the gymnasium. We have the lecture halls.
Look at this guy. See, this is all theatrics. This is all theatrics. And then when I saw this back in 2014, I sent reply back, but I said, I don't think he's serious. It don't seem like he knows what he's doing. He doesn't have a team. And it sounds to me like he's just winging it. I think it's a scam. And here we are all these years later.
We have the cafeteria. We have a beautiful.
There's no cafeteria facility up there in these trap battles in Wilmington, Delaware, on the side of the street that Umar's been quote unquote renovating on.
Student center. I want this school to be a blueprint, a role model to every other independent African school in the world, to show them that African children are not.
Look at this guy. It's just sloppy. The whole production is sloppy. He's looking sloppy.
Not the intellectual inferiors of European Americans.
Listen, people, whatever. Goodness gracious.
To show them.
He's so stuck in the 1920s and shit.
That our children want to learn as much as anyone else.
Listen, my children don't have to prove nothing to nobody, period. I don't have to prove nothing to nobody either, Umar.
I'm tired of the phone calls from our mothers and fathers crying about what's being done to their children. I'm tired of
I'm tired of them jeans.
Education when it's not necessary. I'm tired of ADHD diagnoses and conduct disorder diagnoses and oppositional defiance diagnoses and learning disability diagnoses and emotional disturbance diagnoses. I'm tired, and I want you to be tired with me of our children being forced to exist in a system that was not designed to educate them in the first place. I want to give them a heaven on earth.
Look at this. This is a college campus. Umar can't get one building done in Wilmington, Delaware.
I want to give them a home away from home.
And operating expenses for these things, I mean, this is tens of millions of dollars per year. I don't know what he was thinking.
And I want St. Paul's College to be that place. Imagine a school where children don't have to be suspended. Imagine a school where your child never gets expelled. Imagine a school where your child never gets misdiagnosed and put in special education. Imagine a school where you don't have to worry about the teachers trying to force you to put your son or daughter on dangerous psychiatric medication.
Teachers don't have that power. This is just Umar trying to disparage teachers, like they're actively forcing these black children to take medications. That's not how that works. It'll go to show you how disingenuous this guy is.
Ladies and gentlemen,
he's such a liar.
Brothers and sisters, community stakeholders of the African race, I implore you, I beg you, I summon you, and I petition you to donate to this cause. Donate to this fundraiser. Let us show the world that we care enough about our children and enough about our history and enough about our ancestors to keep St. Paul.
This guy care enough about our children. He don't even take care of his own kids. Even go back to 2014, he's a deadbeat. Don't pay child support on time. Ridiculous. Watch out for that language too with these cult leaders, because they'll say our kids. Sometimes they'll say my kids. No.
College in the hands of the African American community and in the hands of Dr. Umar Johnson and in the interest of African children and under the skies of Almighty God and our ancestors. Help me keep.
Why you got on? Isn't that a polo shirt? What you got a polo shirt on talking about black consciousness?
This college alive and keep the dream of its founder, James Solomon Russell, alive forever.
And there's still no school. So the point I want to make is when I saw this video, he didn't have no team. It wasn't professionally made. It's just some bootleg ghetto type. Anyway, thanks, Jay Civic. Okay. TJ says a lot of money went to pay his child support in bulk. Yeah, that's true. A lot of money is going to paying child support. People don't think about that. I mean, the people who sent him money understand that there's a portion of that that's Umar's using to pay child support. When he's back and he's in arrears, they start calling him in. He'll go in and he'll go pay it off in bulk. He got at least three baby mamas that I know of based on the research in Philadelphia alone that I've confirmed. There's a fourth woman that attempted to put him on child support but was unsuccessful in Philly. It's likely that he got other baby mamas out there too, because he's been living a foul, sexually deviant lifestyle, for what? About 3 decades. Yeah, so a lot of this money has gone towards paying child support. People wonder why he hadn't opened up a school yet, but this is part of the reason why he done tricked off most of the money. Most of the money hasn't gone towards opening towards this project, FDMG. Most of the money's gone towards Umar and his vices and all of his. Anyway, thanks, TJ. Lewis says, if the prison is that close to FDMG, he took the school to prison pipeline series. That's what I'm saying. Then it makes no sense because it's in a crime-infested, drug-infested neighborhood. Yesterday, less than a mile away, I think it was 4 people got shot. And again, like I said, it was ranked 6th in the nation for violent crime per capita. I believe it was in 2018. Why would you purchase these trap bandos for $400,000? And there's millions of dollars of renovation work that needs to go into it. And then on top of that, there's a level 5 max prison less than a mile away. And then you're going to charge the parents of these kids $500 a month to go there. And when they graduate, they don't get a legitimate diploma because the school's unaccredited. So then they're going to have to go and get their GED. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. On top of that, and you know this, These kids, they can just go to a school for free in the neighborhood. And they just built one not too far from these trap banners from the ground up. And they opened last year, state of the art. Not these trap mold infested state of art that Umar talked about. Literally state of the art. That's what I'm saying. Even as a business, it's not viable. He's going to need millions of dollars of to cover operating expenses. Where's he going to come up with that money? He's going to need millions of dollars to furnish everything. Where's he going to come up with that money? He's still not done with renovations. There's literally millions of dollars of renovation work that needs to be done on these 3 buildings. Where's he going to come up with that money? It's not even viable as a business. It's like a money pit. Y'all remember that movie a long time ago? It's called Money Pit with I had his name in my son. I had his name and I just forgot his name. You know, the guy that did he played in everything. He played in what's that movie called? The Life is Like a Box of Chocolate, that movie. Tom Hanks. Yeah, thank you, Truck. You guys ever see that movie with Tom Hanks? Yeah, Tom Hanks, Dre. Tom Hanks is called Money Pit. It's an old movie from like the 80s, I think. I think it had to be in the 80s. Yeah. Yeah, God's Little Princess. He sure did have his father saying, donate, donate, donate. Yeah, what's up, Kilo? Yeah, I'll make sure y'all vote on the poll. How much FDMG donation money has Umar spent on clothes, shoes, hats, and accessories since 2014? 11% said $20,000 to $30,000. 7% said $30,000 to $40,000. 11% said $40,000 to $50,000. 70% said more than $50,000 since 2014. Okay. Yeah, Goldie Hawn was in it. Yeah, Goldie Hawn was in it. How's it going, Keontae? Yeah, Tom Hanks. Yeah. Yeah, great actor. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Louis. Jay Civic also says, so Umar Johnson filing in Delaware allows him to be the only one who knows what's coming in and what's going out in is him, other than tax returns, which the IRS takes his numbers on faith. Yeah, and I've talked about this. It is extremely unlikely that Umar is reporting all of the money that he receives each year. Last time I checked, his filings for 2025 it wasn't available. I should check again because it's been maybe about a month, less than a month. So he may not even file last year, which he's done in the past though too. His original EIN number is a nonprofit. It was a 501c4. And he was telling people that they can write it off on their taxes. You can't write that off on your taxes. He's such a liar. He lied to the people that donated money to him. But he didn't report to the IRS for 3 years. All the money that Umar collected in 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, yeah, and 18 and 19. 19? That's, yeah, I think it's 19, but let's go with just 18. 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18. 5 years, he didn't report anything to the IRS. Where'd that money go? Think about it. He doesn't get tax exempt status again until 2020, but it's not retroactive. That's why he had to pay, or his donors had to pay property tax. And the total at the end was like $167,000. That's all wasted money simply because he didn't have his paperwork in order with the IRS and with his nonprofit. That's a lot of money to just waste just because you ain't have your paperwork in order. That's $160,000. The purchase price was $400,000. That's about $560,000 right there that's been wasted. That's $500,000 that's wasted right there because the school hasn't served any purpose. Has not one black child been educated in 7.5 years. That's $500,000 right there that's been wasted. Just there. But to your point, I highly doubt, it's extremely unlikely that Umar is reporting everything that he's received in donations, especially cash. Especially cash. I mean, this guy, he could have received by now $500,000 in cash. He ain't reported. It's likely he ain't reporting none of that to the IRS because it's been going on for a long time. See, here's the thing. when we talk, like, for instance, with the poll question, if I say how much FDMG donation money has Umar spent on clothes, shoes, hats, and accessories, and then there's a more than $500,000 as an option, a lot of people are like, that's crazy. Who spends 50,000? Or excuse me, it's more than 500,000. Could it be more than 500,000? People are like, that's crazy. Who spends $500,000 on clothes, shoes, hats, and accessories? Yeah, but key word, since 2014, we're in 2026. We're talking about over the course of 12 years. See? Well, the same thing applies to this. How much money has Umar Johnson collected in cash that's sent to his P.O. box, or cash given to him as speaking engagements that he hasn't reported to the IRS going back to at least 2014? It could be $500,000 by now, and there's no accounting for it. So yeah, I agree. I think when he does file with the IRS, I think that those numbers are underestimated. I think that Umar, he's going to report just enough to make it look as if he's reporting just enough. But is he reporting everything? No. Now let me say one last thing, because people are like, well, you're speculating. Yeah, kind of, sort of, but historically speaking, that's precisely what Umar Johnson did with all the rest of the money. And not just the cash, with the checks and money orders. Like I said, 2014, 15, 16, 17, and 18. And yeah, 2019, he didn't report to the IRS how much money he received. So all that money, there's no accounting for it whatsoever. He'll throw out figures here and there. One time he said $1 million back in 2016, but then by the time we get to 2020, he's saying he's at 800,000 or 750,000. I've already done a chart and showed you guys that stuff. There's no accounting system. Last point I want to make here, that I don't think that Umar knows how much money he's raised. Whatever figure he thinks it is, it's a whole lot more than that. Because Umar doesn't have an accounting system. He's been at this for such a long time. 12 years is a long time. That's over a decade. It's a long time to have money flooding in where there's no transparency, there's no accountability, key word. Umar, he has no organization skills. What, is he an accountant? Umar can't even keep his room clean when he had a room back in 2009 before he got evicted. He's been homeless ever since. He can't even keep his mama closet clean. You guys really think that he's sitting down every single day with accounting himself, or even with a professional? He's not doing that. I don't think Umar knows how much money he's raised. It should be around $3 million by now. That's a lot of money. There's no way. No, go back. From 2014 to 2026, that's 12 years. Umar stated that he collected donations in the form of land in 2012. So if we go from 2012, Black Dot said that he donated to Umar for FDMG back in 2010. That's 16 years. Now watch this. If we take $3 million, we're going to divide that by 16. It's $187,500 a year. That's all. Not that it's a, I'm just saying that's. Could Umar raise on average $187,500 a year? Yeah. He's been at this for such a long time. Again, he said he was at $1 million by the end of 2016. So he had raised $1 million in roughly 2 years, 2.5 years, based on what he said. He had already raised $1 million in 2.5 years, but he's been at this now, if we go from 2014, for 12 years. He should be around $3 million by now. Anyway, he don't even know how much money he's raised. And I guarantee you, like you're saying here, he's not reporting all the money to the IRS that he's collected. Why would he? Especially the cash. Thanks, Jay Civic. He wasn't even reporting to the IRS before that anyway. Before he finally started consistently reporting, which was in 2021. No, 2020 is, 2021 is when he finally started to file. He tried, because see, it's not retroactive. That's why he still had to, anyway. Jay Civic, thank you for the super chat. Lewis Sluck, and I think it's he's filed finally in 2020, but the point is that by him filing and having his paperwork in order, by that time, it's not retroactive to cover for that year. That's why he had to pay, his donors had to pay property taxes because he didn't have tax exempt status. His nonprofit wasn't in order for that year. So the following year in 2021 is when he actually starts. And what he does is he backlogs the previous year, which would have been 2020, actually. Yeah. It's a big old mess. Lewis X says he chose that neighborhood to give them real life Black Rambo training and helicopter training because they're going to need a chopper to evacuate. Yeah. Like I said, think about all the stuff that Umar promised, including he's gonna turn the boys into Black Rambo. Just ridiculous. Who comes up with that? It's like a child's imagination just runs wild, and he's just coming up with anything. He said he's going to teach the boys how to fly airplanes and teach them how to fly helicopters and teach them how to float boats. I don't have the video for when he said the helicopter, but what he said was that when you come to come see your child, because he was really adamant about, the parents can't see the children unless, it's like a schedule thing. Because they're all going to be a part of, his possession. But when they will come to the airport, and then he said that the children are going to be trained to fly helicopters, going to pick them up at the helicopter. Pick them up at the airport, pick the parents up at the airport, and then fly back to the school in the helicopter and land the helicopter. And then this guy, come on, it's over the top. But think of all the stuff that he's promoted that he's going to do. Most of what he promoted is unrealistic in the first place. It's not even viable. And he doesn't have a plan. Even if it was viable, he doesn't have a plan on how I'm going to materialize that. That's why in 2026, I've said this many times, Umar Johnson followers, you guys can't give me 10 tangible things that Umar Johnson has done outside of running his mouth, which isn't tangible, just running his mouth. You can't do it. So how is he this great Black leader, this organizer, and he's leading this movement when he ain't done shit except run his mouth and collect millions of dollars? Give me 10 things real quick. You can't do it. I'll leave it right there. But Black Rambos, that's ridiculous. And a dirt bike team, who's paying for all this? And the gun training, you're going to teach these boys how to shoot guns and shit in a crime-infested, drug-infested neighborhood less than a mile away from a Supermax prison. And about 2 weeks ago, someone got shot up over there. And then yesterday, four people got shot up over there. And that was less than a mile away from these trap bandos. Does that make any sense? Let me tell y'all something. The reason why Umar comes up with this foolishness about Black Rambo is twofold. Number one, he spent a lot of time watching movies when he was a child. Just like he spends a lot of time watching movies and watching TV as an adult because he's a lazy bum. He spent more time laying around in mama house and in mama closet watching TV. And then when he goes to these speaking engagements, they put him in a hotel. There's a TV in there too. He's a couch potato. Even when he travels on vacation, he's a couch potato. So number one, he spent a lot of time watching movies. That's why Umar wanted to be a principal, because he saw that movie with Joe Clark. What was it called? Lean on Me? Fairy side. Fairy side. We're gonna go to school on Monday of next month, forever, yeah. That's why he wanted to become a principal, because he wants all that power like Joe Clark had, right? He's just head movies. But he saw that when he was a child or younger. But if you go back even further, he does a video where he's talking about, I saw Electric Boogaloo and I watched this movie in here and I saw Rambo and so that imprinting is still in Umar. And then he shipped off to a military academy, the only child of all of his siblings. It's 11 all total. It's Umar and 10 others. It's 11 altogether. But he's the only one that shipped away. It's a military academy. He has a lot of trauma associated with that. For one, because he was separated from his family. It was a boarding school. Oh, huh? Isn't that what he said about St. Paul? It was going to be a boarding school? Yeah. You figuring it out now, huh? You see that? That's trauma. And he enmeshment issues with his mama, separated. He's a mama's boy. Real talk, he was a punk. He's still a punk too today, but I'm just saying he was a punk. Always up under his mama's skirt. So he separated from his mama, and that's traumatizing. He already had issues anyway, and he shipped off to a military academy. So all of this military science, and we're going to teach them how to shoot guns, and we're going to train them so they become Black Rambos. This is all Umar's own childhood traumas that he's playing out as an adult. With y'all's kids, not mine. So, yeah. So when he's talking about teaching them how to float ships and fly helicopters and airplanes and teaching them how to shoot guns and all this other stuff, okay, that's just childhood trauma coming out with Umar. He's trying to relive this stuff to try to correct it, what have you. But that's what I'm saying. FDMG is not for these boys or these girls for that matter. FDMG, the idea, this is for Umar. He thinks it's unconscious, okay, it's subconscious, that this is his pathway to healing. But can you imagine Umar with children? All he would be doing is traumatizing the children. See, this is some real twisted psychological shit that's all wrapped up in this. And it shouldn't be understated, and it needs to be taken seriously. That's what I'm saying. A lot of these Black parents that think they're going to send their children to Umar, you guys got to really start thinking critically about this. Like, really think about this. Why does Umar where did he come up with the idea of opening up a school in the first place? He's never had a school. He's never been a teacher. He's never opened up a school. So for what purpose does it serve? To what end exactly? He doesn't have the money to do it. He's lazy. He's not the type of man that gets up and do things. He's the type of man who sits down and says, I need. He's not a doer. He's a talker. He's not a doer. He's a taker. He's not a giver. He's a taker. He just takes. He's like a little child. So what within Umar's mind would necessitate him to open up a school? It's not for the children. He don't even care about his own kids. It's for Umar. And see, when people really understand that, they'll see why all this is all of it is batshit crazy, and why it is that things are the way that they are here in 2026 when it comes to FDMG. FDMG ain't got nothing to do with Black boys. Umar conceptualized this not to save Black boys, but to save the Black boy in him. And he's still struggling with that to this day. He's like a lost child wandering around, running his mouth that don't know shit and think he know everything. That's why he still lived with his mama at the age of 51 in Section 8 fucking housing. You mean to tell me he can't do better by his mama after raising millions of dollars? He can't do better by his mama at the age of 51? Well, he's a lost little boy. And this whole school thing, the Black Rambo and teaching them how to float ships and fly, and we're going to put an observatory up on the roof, and we're going to have the kids come to the school at night, and we're going to cuddle with, he said we're going to feed them dinner, and then we're going to cuddle with them by the fire. I don't know what y'all thinking, but this is some other type of stuff going on here. This ain't got nothing to do with open up in a little legitimate school. Anyone who could come up with those types of words, he says it. I could play it for you guys. Most people haven't heard it because it's the Big Papa podcast. It's not a video. This guy is so delusional. It's about a 50-minute talk, and he's talking as if the school is already open and that there's parents sitting in front of him for the parent orientation. And he's sitting at the podium, allegedly. He probably could be in the mama closet when he's doing this shit. Y'all don't think there's something ain't right with this? Who think that somebody's in their right mind going to do some shit like this? And then he starts talking about, yeah, and we're going to have, we got to make sure that we collect the monies. And when we get the monies. And my assistant's going to handle the money because I don't want you guys to breathe. I don't want to have to touch the money. None of it's real. It's a fake. None of it's real. But he's talking as if the school The school's about to open, and the parents don't pay the $500 a month, and they sitting in the audience, and but he keeps running his mouth. It's one of the most disturbing things you guys will ever hear. But then at a certain point, he starts talking about the boys and how they're gonna bring the boys back to the school, and they're gonna dress in suits, and when they get to the school, they're gonna feed them dinner, and then he's gonna cuddle with them by the fire. Y'all don't think that's weird? Y'all okay with that? You Umar Johnson followers, y'all okay with that? If you are okay, that's on you. Just understand that this ain't got nothing to do with black boys and saving black boys. This is just Umar and his fantasies. The Black Rambo. Who comes up with some stupid shit like that? You mean to tell me this guy was sitting in his mama closet thinking, you know what? We're going to treat, let me write this down. We're going to teach these boys how to be Black Rambos. All right. I've been going off today. I apologize. Thanks, Little Slut. James says, Hanera said she pours libation every time she hears sirens in the neighborhood at the alumni house. That alumni house is another thing. I'm sorry. I don't mean to go off, but you people have to understand this. That in addition to Umar wanting to be in control of other people's kids, it's not about helping these kids. It's about Umar trying to resolve his own childhood traumas, and there's a lot of them there. Okay, he's abandoned by his daddy. Okay, at a certain point, he's ostracized from the rest of the family and separated from the rest of the family. He's at a boarding school. You know, it's not easy for Umar because he's awkward. Okay, he presents as if he's on the spectrum. Okay, he's not athletic. He's admitted that. You know, so he has all these issues, colorism, and he feels like he's really, really dark skinned. And so all these different factors, low levels of self-esteem. That's why he's always calling himself these grandiose titles. The Prince of Pan Africanism, the most requested scholar. I got a whole list of it. And I document when he first started calling himself. It's after the Hidden Colors 1, because a lot of stuff started going to his head. So the point I want to make that in addition to all these other issues that Umar Johnson is dealing with, mental, psychological, even physical, right? Also the sexual deviancy. On top of all that, Umar has a harem of women that he's been dealing with for many years now. And they've bought a home about 2.5 blocks from these trap banners in Wilmington, Delaware. And this home functions as a home base for Umar Johnson's cult. And I got to say it, for his sex cult. Because a lot of these women, he used to take over to Africa for those P. Diddy P. Diddy safari freak off situations up over there. These are the women in his harem. A lot of people don't know about that. It goes back a long way, but you see, Polite had the same thing going on. See, what's most disturbing, however, is that they're into all of this, voodoo and all this other stuff and all these rituals. I mean, people do what they want to do, okay? But you're going to pay a price, good or bad, one way or the other. Just be prepared for that. That's what they're into. And doing these different sacrifices, and if that's what people want to do, go on ahead and do it. Good or bad, there's going to be consequences. The point I am making is for this shit to be going on, and it's all associated with Umar and his harem, with his sex cult. This is all going on 2.5 blocks from these trap banners in Wilmington, Delaware, that these parents are going to be paying $500 a month to send their kids to. And Umar's the ringleader, and you're going to have your child in his care. Y'all just as batshit crazy as Umar is, and worse, because them your kids, not his. Think about it. You're going to send your child and pay $500 a month to go to a non-accredited school in the hood, which less than a mile away from a supermax prison, less than a mile away. 4 people got shot yesterday. The year prior to Umar acquiring these trap bandos, Wilmington, Delaware was ranked 6th in the nation for violent crime per capita. Umar's a sexual deviant. He talks sexual talk about kids' private parts. And you're going to send your kid to this guy while he got a little sex coke going on 2.5 blocks away. Make it make sense. Anyway, yeah, they call it the alumni house, but that ain't what it is. Thanks, James. Beatrice sent in 440 joules, says, Uncle Alert. Thank you. I appreciate that. We got about 875 people in the building. If you're enjoying the show, hit that like button. We're about to get into the main video. I know got blowed off, but that's how it goes. We got 290 likes right now. Our goal is 400. So make sure you hit that like button if you're enjoying the show. Shout out to everyone inside the Cookie Crush chat. And thanks to the mods too for handling the business. Okay. Thank you, Beatrice. I appreciate the gift. UG25 says, at this point, Umar Johnson makes more money ranting about. Well, let me be fair. Umar, he could make great money just by using his social media. He wouldn't have to be doing all of this. He wouldn't even have to go on these podcasts to get paid. He wouldn't have to speak. He wouldn't even have to do that. I'm talking about going to travel. But see, part of the issue is that Umar, with the narcissism, he has to be on bigger platforms. He has to be on platforms that get a lot of views because it feeds his ego and feeds the narcissism. He's attention seeking. But the other thing is that his speaking engagements, if he shuts all those down, well, then Umar's not able to go on vacation. He's not able to go and go on about his business in different cities and countries around the world. And then also part of that is him gaining access to more women to sexually exploit. That's part of his vacation. So Umar is essentially, because if Umar decided to give all this other debauchery and scam, if he gave all this up, he could legitimately use his social media and make $200,000 a year. Okay, would he have to be consistent? Absolutely. Would he have to be more organized? Absolutely. Would he have to be more dependable? Absolutely. Would he have to cut down with all of the sex talk and debauchery talk? Absolutely. But it's all of that is so ingrained, and he's been living like this for decades now. Umar, he's at a point, and he's 51. He's set in his ways, but legitimately, he could do all of this and make $200,000, and just scale it over time, get up to $250,000 a year. He could do it. No, but he wants to, continue to live the lifestyle which is self-destructive. And no matter what he does, he's always going to need money. And no matter what he does, he's always going to end right back up inside of his mama's closet. See, it don't make no sense. Like if you could get on social media and you don't even have to go anywhere, and you make $200,000 a year, that's more than enough money to kind of etch out a decent living, at the very least, to where your mama ain't living in Section 8 housing, and you have your own car, and you're living in a decent neighborhood. You pay your child support on time. But see, Umar got so many other addictions and issues, the substance abuse issue, the gambling addiction, the food addiction, the sex addiction, and the list goes on and on with this guy. No amount of money is ever going to be enough. I'm just talking about that if he cleaned his life up and just used his social media to earn income, he wouldn't have to be doing all this scamming and scheming. He would have to work, though. He would have to put in work and get organized, but he's lazy. It's easier just to beg for money for the last, real talk, for the last 16 years. It's easier to do that, yeah, but it's not going to move his life forward. The more difficult thing to move his life forward is listen, if he don't want to work a job, fine. Have a legitimate business, make that money. It's on social media. He could do it, but he's not, because he's lazy. And he's been enabled by his donors for decades now to be a lazy, begging bum. All right. Thanks, you, 2-5. What's up, Max Khalik said the reality is his mama. No, it's true. I know I say that and people may think I'm joking, but it's true. The reality is his mama's closet. No matter where Umar goes, no matter, he's over in Europe, he's traveling. He's out there with the Rastas. Okay. Then he comes back to Boston, and then he's going to go here. He's going to go there. He's going to be, no matter what, he's going to end right back up inside his mama closet. That's the reality. And all I'm saying, Max Khalik, is that Umar's 51. At 51, wouldn't you aspire to do something better than that? You got children. Wouldn't you aspire to elevate yourself and also elevate your mama, as opposed to having these random women come through to take care of your mama while you traveling around the world, because you're the primary caretaker and getting paid for it too? Wouldn't you want to do better? But not Umar. No matter what, he about to be 52. He gonna have to deal with the reality, which is his mama's closet. And that's sad for anybody. He's 51. He's supposed to be the most credited scholar and his black conscious leader living in the mama closet. Thanks, Master Khalid. UG5 says, I'd buy Umar Johnson a China trip and cancel the return ticket. He's been to China, though. He's been to China. He went to Japan. He was in a bubble bath in Japan. Y'all remember that? Thank you, UG5. How's it going, guys? Noel says he can't be on vacation because he works 60 hours at FDMG. This is like what we were talking about earlier. For the sake of logic, I think it was for the sake of logic brought this up. We were talking about this earlier. Umar Johnson's IRS, his paperwork, he lies all the time, but he's telling the IRS that he's working 60 hours a week at FDMG, and he's not paying himself either. That's virtually impossible. It's literally impossible. How's Umar working 60 hours a week and he over in the UK? Last year, he was over in Africa for about a week or two. And he's the primary caretaker of his mama. And he's traveling at the same, and he's working on FDMG. It's not possible. 60 hours. Boy, this guy. But that's what he's reporting to the IRS. He can't be on vacation. He always on vacation. He on vacation right now, watching right now. How's it going, Umar? You ready to come on? Let me know. We'll get you on. Okay? Just let me know. He was big and bad back in the day, talking all that shit and tough Tommy down. I'm gonna do this and pull up team, and you ain't cut it out. You know you ain't about that life. You were never about that life. Okay, I'm not either. But I'm not the one either. Okay. So I told my wife the other day, I said, sometimes people think I'm mad. I said, they ain't seen me mad. I said, and thank goodness they ain't seen me mad. But they interpret it that way because I'm real chill. I don't talk all that much. I'm real laid back. So when I say something, it's because I got a good reason, and I'm not concerned with your feelings. You shouldn't have been talking reckless. Anyway, thanks, guys, Noel, for the super chat. Jeopardy said 250 jewels, the MVP. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I had a friend in college. He was an African prince, literally, and we didn't believe him at first. But he pulled out this photo album, and it had pictures of him. He was over in Africa, and he had like all this gold on and all this stuff. And he only dated white women. But he was so smart. This guy, he would play basketball like all day. Like he wouldn't go to class or nothing, but he would go to take the test. He go to take the test. He got A's and B's, no problem. But we used to watch Jeopardy. And I kid you not, this guy, the answer would, because it was different. It's not, they wouldn't show the question, they show the answer, and you got to answer it with the question, right? They would show the answer, and before I could even read it, he already answers it. I don't know what this guy, he was something else. Yep. Okay. He was a bunny hopper. He was a cool dude though. And then my other roommates, he was from LA, but then my other roommates, I had two that was from Compton. Right. So we never believed him until he pulled out that album. It was like, oh yeah, he really is. One of my roommates like, you ain't no prince. You ain't nothing but a dick. Anyway, thanks, Jeopardy. Black Mara says, why don't we send him on vacation with a one-way ticket? No, now when I say Umar's on vacation, I'm serious about that. His life as it is in reality, where he has to return to his mama closet, that's the worst. He got baby mamas. He on child support. You see how mad he get when they call him into child support. He don't take care of his kids. His kids don't know him, don't like him. His family members don't like him. You see what I'm saying? That's all. And he's 51, about to be 52. Doesn't have his own vehicle. Has been homeless since the end of 2019. That's horrible. So what I'm saying, Black Morrow, is that's his mama closet is his reality. That he always returns back to his mama's closet. His escapism is traveling. I'll even propose that that's his vacation. I'll even propose that his escapism is just getting out of mama closet and going down to these trap banners for a couple minutes to beg for money, because he doesn't have to deal with the reality of his life. So this ought to say that anything outside of Umar's everyday life, it's a vacation for him. And that's why he spent so many years, decades, in point of fact, traveling as much as he can. He's escaping from his reality, but he's always going to end back up in his mama closet. Okay? Thanks, Black Morrow. He just says he got on those infamous bugle board. Yeah, this is from earlier. He's worn those jeans for it's been over a decade. And then again, he's a hoarder, so he don't like to let stuff go. Okay, that's why, if you guys remember Umar, he went inside the large gym and he said that all this vandalism took place, like it happened recently. That's old vandalism, and all of his old stuff was in there from when he had his own apartment back in 2019. He just moved it all in there. But see, a lot of that stuff he should have just thrown out, but he's a hoarder. And there was bags of clothes. You guys remember that? That's just hoarding. So who knows whatever, and see, instead of washing it and hanging it up, you think Umar's hanging up clothes? Cut it out. He's not organized. He doesn't have a mind for that. No, he just throws it in the corner, throws it into some trash bags, and he just goes buy some new ones with donation money for FDMG. Again, the poll question before we get to the video here: how much FDMG donation money has Umar Johnson spent on clothes, shoes, hats, and accessories since 2014? 12% said $20,000 to $30,000. 8% said $30,000 to $40,000. 11% said $40,000 to $50,000, and overwhelmingly 69% said more than $50,000. Make sure you get your vote in during this live stream. Our goal for likes today is 400. We are sitting at 335. Okay, so we should get it before we get up out of here. How are we doing on time? I've been running my mouth. Yeah, we're going to go for another 35 minutes. So we need to get going here. We got 900 people in the building. We need to get going on this video. Let me do the rest of these real quick. Louis Suck says, I think it was Maria Lord that was the first to publicly ask him what he was doing with the money and where's his business plan, and she got backlash. Yes. So Maria Lord, she was affiliated with Boyce Watkins. And I'm not going to say that she's the first person to publicly ask him what he was doing with the money, but from what I remember, she's the first person that asked the critical question about him having a business plan or not having a business plan. Okay. And yeah, she did. She got a lot of backlash for that. She was, at the time, she was affiliated with Boyce Watkins. I think they had a relationship going on too. So it was messy. She ended up suing him. I don't know what the outcome was. Something to the effect that he had stole her intellectual property, and he has a history of using black women going way back. And he did that with Michi X2, and there was another young lady named Paris Milan. There's other people. I just can't remember that. I mean, this is just the history part of all of this. But at that time, Boyce Watkins was taking shots at Umar, and she kind of got into it too. But I think he probably encouraged her to do that, because that's one thing he used to do. He would have these women like kind of speak on topics that he would want them to speak on, especially when he was like having issues with other people in the black conscious space. And but she did a fantastic video. I'll probably have some of that inside the documentary. She's well spoken, highly intelligent, coming from a business background, and she broke it down. Like Umar, he didn't have a business plan. Like, he didn't know what he was doing, and she was asking those critical questions. And yeah, she sure did. She got a lot of backlash. I've been talking about this a lot lately because we're in 2026. back then it was different. Some of you guys have been around. You were around. Some of y'all have been around for a while. You know that back in the day, it was much more difficult to be an Umar Johnson critic because you had his followers that would attack you online, and someone would go to other extremes. You know, they'll call. I had this happen quite a few times. They call one of my former employers trying to get me fired. And that's why I don't tell people where I work or any of that stuff these days. Okay. But the point is that back then, Umar had a lot of people that were defending him, and there's quite a few people that used to defend him, and then now they're critics of him, right? And there are people who defended him, and they just kind of fade away. He had a lot of those women like Tip the Griff that would really go at people online. This went on for many, many years, and Maria Lord, she actually received a lot of that from Umar Johnson followers when she did that video. Okay, she didn't tell no lies though. She was real business about it too. It was a good video. I have it downloaded. These days it's different, you know, because more people have woken up about Umar, and he's lied so much, and he's told so many different lies, and he's made so many promises that he hasn't kept. And a lot of those promises, people used to believe in this guy, and they used to defend him online. But then now they realize, hey, wait a minute, he didn't do anything that he said he was going to do. It's all lies. There's still not one child's been educated. So at this point, it's more difficult to defend Umar. I actually think it's impossible, but I'm sure there's still people that do it. The point I want to make is that back then it was a different time period. These days, it's a lot easier to be a critic of Umar, right? And she was one of the early critics. I wouldn't even say early, because there was people that go way, way back. There's a brother from Philly. He knew Umar back when Umar was in the UNIA. And Umar was a mess back then. That's back in 2004, 2005. Okay, the brother, he's from Philly too. And shout out to him. Thanks, Louis Duck. U25 says jeans scuffed at the knees. No, all right, don't stop. Stop. May says St. Paul's was going to be a monument to his ego. I think so. A lot of that was just narcissism and ego. So the idea he's going to have a whole college campus, and remember he had the whole Coke compound, 500 acres with a river in the shape of Africa, with all these amenities. You know, the air traffic control tower, you know, an airstrip for helicopters and airplanes to land on, a sports stadium, you know, a track and field facility, a hospital, 2 schools, a zoo, a NASA building, a government building, and the list goes on and on and on with this guy. Okay, that's all ego and narcissism. Because part of what narcissists do is like they have this, everything is over the top. Like the way that they conceptualize their importance, what they conceptualize, what they can achieve and what they can do. It's all over. He's just a bum from Philly living in a mama closet. In all fairness, back then he wasn't living in a mama closet. He had his own place. Okay, let's be fair. But the point is that it's all ego. It's not about helping black boys. It's about childhood trauma, and it's about his ego. His ego is necessary, at least psychologically, in my opinion, because of his childhood trauma. He's unwilling to deal with all that. And there's a whole lot more going on with Umar in terms of his childhood that I know about that I haven't spoken about. And he probably don't even know that I know. But that's why the ego gets out of control, because it's a coping mechanism. Really, it's a defense mechanism. King Kong conscience is a defense mechanism. Prince of Pan Africanism is a defense mechanism. He's not a prince of anything. He's not even a Pan Africanist. The most requested scholar, he's always begging people for stuff. How are you the most requested when you don't want to requesting stuff all the time? And he's not a scholar. He hasn't been peer reviewed, hasn't written in any scholarly journals. He doesn't have any scholarly peers, none of that stuff. What, Pookie and Ray Ray? No, all of that is just his coping mechanism because of the trauma from the childhood, and his core personality is little Jermaine that don't know shit, don't know how to live life. That's why he stayed with his mama at the age of 51 in secondary housing. Don't have a car, don't have a wife, don't take care of his kids, no responsibilities whatsoever. See? Anyway, a lot of this is ego. Thanks, man. See, he needs to humble himself, but the narcissism doesn't allow that. But again, a lot of this goes back to childhood stuff. Anyway, thanks, man. Manny says, I'm tired too, Lenon. I'm tired of it. Okay, thanks, Randy. Blackwood says, buildings should have been demolished. And I've said, yeah, they should have. And that's what the EPA suggested to the city of Wilmington back in 2019 with their report. They suggested that they tear the buildings down, which made sense because the buildings themselves, just the mold, because the mold was there then. The mold itself is enough to say, okay, listen, we're just going to tear these things down because it would cost less money to actually build from the ground up. or to gut these buildings and build up, right? Then to try to renovate and do mold remediation and all of the repairs and all that stuff, right? My son down there yelling. I think he's gaming with his friends. Can you guys hear him? If y'all can hear it, let me know. I'll go down to him. I'll text him, tell him to be quiet. He having a good time though. Thanks, Black Wolf, for the super chat. Cartier says, do you think he deliberately set it up there because of the board member requirement? Yeah, I think he set up. Yeah, I do. I think he set it up because Logic was talking about this earlier. I think he set it up there for that reason. Okay. The bigger challenge though is that what he acquired in Wilmington, Delaware as buildings make no sense. See, it would make more sense if he wants to be the only person on the board. It would make more sense for him to find a building that is not in disrepair in Wilmington, Delaware. Okay? That's what he should have done. Or he could have done it in Philly. Or just instead take that $400,000 and just use that as lease, for a lease, for, I don't know, 400. I mean, it's such a waste of money. I know I've said it. I just don't even want to say it anymore. I mean, he could have found a spot at $10,000 a month. It's already ready to go. 3 classrooms, right? There's an office, 2 offices. There's I guess a teacher's lounge. Just start small, something simple. But no, he takes $400,000 and he tricks it off on these trap banners. He were 7.5 years later, and he ain't finished anything yet. And they're in worse condition, especially on the outside, than ever. So yeah, I think he deliberately set it up so that he can be the only board member, right? But the problem for Umar is that what he selected in Wilmington as a school, if you want to call it that, it's just one of the worst. I can't even call it investments. I don't know what the word is. I'll just use investment. It's the worst investment that he could have made. It's a money pit. Tom Hanks, it's a money pit. And to this day, it's a money pit. Not one black child has been educated. And there's millions of dollars that still need to go into renovating. So why even go through all of this for 7.5 years? And I have to say, it has to be tiring for Umar. And that's why I think when he goes up there, I'm going to show the video in just a moment. When he goes up there, you can tell he's upset because he doesn't want to do that anymore. But he put himself in that position. He painted himself into that corner when he acquired these trap banners. I said it years ago. It's the worst decision he could have made. But it goes back so much further than that, including, the tax exempt status and him wanting to be the HNIC and the only member on the board, and can't nobody question him. He's in charge of all the money. There's no accounting. He's tricked off money with the gambling and the sex and the drugs and the women. Now, last point, Cartier, if Umar had a board of directors and the members were professionals, and there was an accountant, and there was a lawyer there to advise him, and there were, an actual educator there to advise him, and so forth and so on. A general contractor, which he never even got. That's crazy. Do you think that Umar would have been able to trick all of this money off on drugs, women, alcohol, gambling, clothes, rental cars, traveling? It wouldn't have happened. But Umar never wanted to have any type of oversight. He didn't want transparency. And that's precisely why he did what he did. He don't want no board of directors. It's just him. And that way he can use the money however he wants to. And he's literally tricked off at least $1.5 million, $1.7 million by now, at least. And people still think that he's serious about opening. No, it's a scam. Okay, thanks, Cartier. Mega Jordan says, you smoke crack, don't you? Yeah, I don't smoke crack. But then sing the song, boy. Very side. Okay. Checker Jordan. Melanie sent in 10 jewels and said, thumbs up to you as well. Thank you so much for the 10 jewels and the gift. I appreciate it. Let me get to these other ones real quick. James says, remember the video Umar stated that children will be a part of secret society at FDMG? Yeah, I remember it, but I don't remember what video it was. Yeah, he did say that. Yeah, because real quick, I know I ain't even got to the video, been running my mouth. One of the things, because I've talked about it today. I've talked about Umar with the childhood trauma. I've talked about this idea of the school. It's not about helping Black boys. It's Umar trying to save himself, trying to save the child in him, which is the core personality. And that's why everything that he does, he always ends back up at his mama's closet. He's a dependent. He acts like he's a primary caretaker. No, he's dependent on her housing. He's dependent on the SSI. He's getting paid for being the primary caretaker. And what he does is he dishes money out to these random women to come take care of his mama while he's traveling. But think about this. All of these other personal issues dealing with strippers, sexual deviant, school scams, so forth and so on. But one of the key components of this is the cult dynamic. And anytime you have someone saying that your kid belongs to them, or he's saying our kids, when he has children, but he don't take care of his children, he don't care about his children, but your kids is his kids, you're dealing with a cult leader. Like legitimately. The FDMG, as it was conceptualized, was a cult compound. Like I said, 500 acres, one way in, one way out. And the kid's going to stay there on campus with him. And he's the ruler of Zamumba. Huh? That's how Umar conceptualized all of this. Now, he never outwardly stated that it's a cult. But you guys, if you guys study cults, you study cult personalities, but then you study the dynamics of a cult, you realize, and James knows this because he's the one that told me this, what has happened in 2026 with them opening up 2.5 blocks away from these trap banners in Wilmington, Delaware, Umar's harem, which is part of his sex cult, them opening up this so-called alumni house for old Black people. It puts it all into context. For many years, and you know this, James, I was hesitant. I say, no, Umar doesn't have a cult. And I said the closest thing that Umar Johnson has to a cult was his Ifatunde University. And he had these older Black people that would travel to wherever he was at, and they could be across the country once a month to go study Pan Africanism, whatever he was trying to teach them. Goofies. Okay, these are die-hard Umar Johnson followers. These are ones that are susceptible to his manipulation and goofy. But that being said, I always said, no, he doesn't have a legitimate cult because it's not like they have a meeting place and they have regular. Yeah, they would get together once in a month for this Ifatunde University. But once that was done with, that was it. Until earlier this month. The graduates of Ifatunde University, and that's really Umar's cult, they opened up an art gallery. 2.5 blocks from these trap banners in Wilmington, Delaware. And those women are part of the cult. He now has a legitimate cult. And the building for this cult, it's not FDMG, although there's a trickle-down effect. People be careful. Understand that it's just 2.5 blocks away. So, understand, last point, Umar, in addition to having a cult personality, but then also having a legitimate cult, understand that for many years, Umar Johnson was, and he still is, a conspiracy theorist. I was one too. For many years. And secret societies, which are a form of a cult, these secret societies was one of the things, big talking points. The Skull and Bones, the Bilderbergs, the Trilateral Commission, the Illuminati. Well, Umar's still into that to this day. Okay, so understand that when Umar stated that, and I don't remember what video it was, but I remember this years ago about how that there's going to be a secret society for these boys, if that's what they're going to be trained up in a secret society. Okay, all this leads into his code. So you start putting all these pieces together, and you realize very quickly that no children need to be around this guy or around his harem of women. because they're thoroughly brainwashed, big time. Anyway, thanks, James. Jalen sent in 1,000 jewels and said air travel. Now, this real quick, I don't know if you meant to say air travel. Understand too, that's a lot of money has gone towards Umar's air travel and him just traveling around the world. And then, you know, it's expensive. It's expensive to rent cars. It's expensive to travel. Okay, he's always on a perpetual vacation. It's expensive to be gluttonous and eating, you know, as much as you can. It's substance abuse is expensive. Gambling is expensive, and the list goes on and on and on. Okay, air travel. Thanks, Jalen. All right. Knife Boy Gamer says he's way better off turning it into a youth center, but his big dreams are making him think this is some kind of academy. Yeah, I mean, he could have. If he wanted to purchase these trap bandos, first of all, don't purchase all of that. You know, why not just purchase the gym, the small gym, and just focus on that? You know, focus on that and just turn it, like you said, it could be a community center for the kids, and they come, they play sports, but they have a. It makes no sense. Right next door, literally right next door, there's a Boys and Girls Club. So normally when you open up a business, you got to be aware of what other businesses are in that area and whether or not it's viable to open up a business. So if there's no demand, let's say you want to sell fish. Okay, that's the thing. You want to sell fish and you specifically want to sell mackerel. I'm just using this as an example. Sardines. Let's say you want to sell sardines. Okay, let's stop playing. You want to sell sardines. Okay, but there's another business that's like I don't know, a half a block or two blocks over, and that's what they specialize in, and they already have the market cornered. So it makes no sense for you to open up to sell sardines unless you're going to sell something else. But everything that Umar says he's going to do with these kids, they're already doing that right there at the Boys and Girls Club. I'm sure they offer tutoring and you know, all this other stuff. So it makes no sense, even logistically, for where he decided to. But he could have just focused on one building, the small gym, focus on that, get that up and running, and then I don't know, have a sports league, you know, for the kids, for the kids in that community. He ain't done none of that. He don't even like kids. You guys realize that Umar don't even have a temperament for kids. He don't like kids. You see, FDMG is not about kids. It's about Umar's ego. It's about Umar and him getting access to the mamas of these kids for sexual and financial exploitation. That's why you always talk about the paddle room and how you're gonna give the women 3 strokes. Who talk like that in the school? He's so diddy. Anyway, thank you. There's a lot of stuff he could have done. All right, real quick, I gotta show you one last thing, and then we're gonna get going here. Get going. So already almost 2 hours in. Here it is right here. This is Umar's original conceptualization for the campus for FDMG. And thanks again, Knife Boy Gamer 1200. Thank you for the super chat. And everyone else, thanks for the super chats. You sent in super stickers, or if you send in gifts, thank you so much. Also, someone sent me a Cash App yesterday. You know who you are. Thank you. I appreciate that as well. So Umar posted this March 26th of 2014. Aerial view of preliminary Heaven on Earth, Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey, RBG Leadership Academy, 500-acre campus encircled by FDMG River in the shape of Mother Africa. Ancestors Park in the center of the campus, dormitories, airfield, athletic facilities, a farm, a state-of-the-art music and theater production studio, greenhouse, zoo, community center, separate buildings, for all 33 trade areas and much more. Okay, this is ego. This is narcissism. No money in 2014, no job in 2014, no team in 2014, no nothing in 2014. But this is what he comes up with. You're dealing with someone who is mentally deranged. Okay? All right. Tanya sent in 10 jewels with a thumbs up. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Knife Boy Gamer sent in 10 jewels, says hiding. Thank you so much. TJ says he ain't worked 60 since he bought those banners. He sure hasn't. He ain't worked no 60 hours. Come on. This guy, he will lie about anything. Okay. Thanks, TJ. The Xenoflux says the roof force. That's from yesterday. Boy, that was crazy. I was not expecting that. Shout out to Enterprise. Thanks, Xenoflux. Live long and prosper, as always. UG25 says, can you sing Somebody Sizzles on my... No, I'm not. Stop. High five from Apricot. Thank you so much. Apicon Con 2 sent in 100 joules. Thank you. Inflex 2 cans of lawn. All right. Thanks, Inflex. Melody also says jamming. Sent in 200 joules. Thank you so much, Melody. Apicon also says says thumbs up. Thank you so much for the 10 joules. Jay Civic says his trips can count as work towards the schools. Towards the school's mission. I don't know about that. See, it'd be, well, I guess if he's saying I'm going to go collect donations, but I'm talking about in a practical sense. I don't think it actually works. And practically speaking, if he was going to other countries or to other states and he's specifically working with children and it's under the banner of FDMG, okay, I can see that. But that's not what Umar is involved with. He don't deal with children. Okay, very rarely. Now, in all fairness, I do have a couple of videos. There's a handful of videos where Umar's speaking to children. He ain't got no business talking to us. He don't know how to talk to children. But I'm talking about working with children specifically. No, I don't. That's not. I haven't seen that. So that's what I'm saying. That should fall. That should fall under the umbrella of FDMG if he was actually working with children, and that would apply to his school mission, right? But historically speaking, that's not what I've seen. And if anyone has any evidence of him, let's say putting on himself putting on a program for children, please send it to me. Listen, I've looked. Okay? I've seen him being asked to speak at a graduation or this type of thing, but him specifically putting together an educational program for children, I haven't seen it. I haven't. One time he was down in South Africa yelling at the kids. It was like, who is this guy? Thanks, Jay Civic. Giannis says he shouldn't be a psychologist. The deadbeat. Yeah, he's not. Well, he's not a psychologist. He's just weaponized the title against Black people for the purpose of what is called the appeal to authority. That he's some sort of authority figure, or he's some sort of a professional, or that he's some sort of expert. He's none of that. That's what he said. I'm a doctor of psychology. What does that mean? You're not practicing anywhere. You don't have an office. It's just a title. He's weaponized that against Black people. Him getting his degree and his PsyD, he's weaponized that against Black people. He says he has 6 degrees. He's weaponized that. That's all for the appeal to authority. He wants his followers, he wants his supporters to appeal to his authority as someone who has 6 degrees or who is a doctor of psychology, who's a school psychologist, even though he's not. He's none of those things, right? So forth and so on. But that's how he's done that. That's a form of manipulation. Thanks, Jonas. Esteban says he went to FDMG because he saw Enterprise recent video. Yeah. Yep. And we're about to get into it right now. Just look at, we'll see. I got 2 more. Look at Umar's disposition. He's not happy. He don't want to go up there. He don't want to go up there at all. Thanks, Esteban. And then Jason says, remember, Umar Johnson doesn't need everyone to believe. He just needs a few idiots to get the gratification. Yes. The narcissist, Umar's narcissistic supply, he doesn't have to have everyone believe him. It only takes 1 or 2. That's it. And that's enough for him to, and you'll see it. Okay, the main video that we'll get to today, we'll do it anyway. We're going to have to go a little over time. The main video we get to today, you'll see that Umar, it's all feeding his ego. This is how it's gratification because someone's listening to him while he's telling and talking about himself and how great he is and the great impact. And you can hear it in his tone when he gets into this mode and this demeanor. If remember, he was talking to that young lady. She looked like she was in her mid-20s. It's like, oh, and I wouldn't go below 25. I wouldn't go below 30. I don't think so. When he starts talking like that, that's Umar in self-gratification mode. They don't take that the wrong way, especially after the sardine situation yesterday. Just you guys will see it, but he flips into that mode. His demeanor changes, his mannerism changes, and then his cadence as he's speaking, it changes too. I'll outline that. Okay, thank you, Jay Civic. And then Eric from Tech Support says, happy poop. Thank you so much, 10 joules. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get in. First, let me get into the video where Umar went up there at these trap bandos today. Okay, this is not too many hours ago. And he posted right there. Notice in the middle there, it says donate today. Okay, here's the first one, right? This was hot off the press. Here we go.
Peace and Pan Africanism. This your big.
See, look, if you guys look at his demeanor, he's not happy. Look. See that? He's not even happy to be up there. But he has to flip into the mode of excitement, at least giving off the illusion of excitement, because he's going to ask for money.
Peace and Pan Africanism. This your big brother King Kong consciousness. Just letting y'all know I'm gonna be pulling up in Columbia, South.
By the way, notice how he goes to the area of these trap bandos that looks the best, even though it still look bad. He ain't gonna shit. He does it. It's a prop.
Carolina this Thursday, House of Hathor, 6 o'clock. Make sure you in the building. The Prince of Pan Africanism is Leo season, is Garvey week, is Nat Turner week. I want to see all my South Carolina and my North Carolina Africans in Columbia, South Carolina. I said I want to see all my South Carolina and my
He's such a phony.
North Carolina Africans in Columbia, South Carolina this Thursday, August the 13th, 6 o'clock, Columbia, South Carolina. And I want to see all my Jamaican Africans. Where my Jamaican Africans at? I want to see you in Kingston, Jamaica. The Prince is coming back. Kingston, Jamaica, Monday, August 17th. Marcus Garvey Solar Return, King Kong Consciousness, Kingston, Jamaica, at the Nation Lounge on Old Spanish Town Road, at the Nation Lounge, Old Spanish Town Road, Kingston, Jamaica, Monday, August 17th, 7 o'clock. It's Leo season. Where my Leos at? Where my Leos at?
Yeah, he muted himself. Yeah, it's just, I mean, nothing that he does is professional. Out here yelling in front of these abandoned buildings. Look at this guy. He don't even bother to take it down either. You just leave it up there. Yeah, I know. He's muted. He muted himself. And see, notice that too. Look at his disposition. So he turns it on. He can try to get excited, but he's not happy. Look.
Peace and Pan Africa.
And then he turns it on, right? But then watch what happens at the end here. He's still going with it, but watch how he just stops. He's done. And then look at him. He goes right back to just being somber and sad. Beard all getting gray because he need to go and get the hair dye. See how he just returns back to his. See that? Yeah, he don't want to be up there. This is sad. It's muted and I can still hear. You're right, D-Will, because when he muted himself, in my mind, I could still hear him yelling. He was talking about sardines or something. I don't know. Boy, that sardine scandal. It's a scandal. We'll be talking about that for many months to come. Thank you, D-Will, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Okay, and then Xenoflux also said his teeth matched. Okay, all right. You guys be nice to Umar, okay? He's having a difficult time right now. Okay. All right. Thank you, Xenoflex. All right. So we probably won't get to all of this, but we'll get through at least enough of it. And then tomorrow we'll come back to finish it. And this is the main video. Let me just check on the poll right quick. The poll question, if you haven't voted, go on and vote now. How much FDMG donation money has Umar spent on clothes, shoes, hats, and accessories since 2014? Accessories, I mean like necklaces and jewelry and that kind of stuff. 11% said $20,000 to $30,000. 8% said $30,000 to $40,000. 11% said $40,000 to $50,000, and then 70% said more than $50,000. Make sure you get your vote in. And our goal for likes today is 400. We are at 394. So 6 more likes to get to the goal. So if you hadn't hit that like button and you're enjoying the show, go on and hit it. We still got about 927 people here. Thank you guys, everyone, for tuning in. Also, thanks to the mods for handling business. Shout out to everyone who sent in super chats, super stickers, or if you sent in gifts. I appreciate the support as always. Okay, so let's get to the video here. And just to be clear, because James told me exactly what this is. Okay, this is an interview. He was in Harlem, New York, for the World Federation Conference, July 15th of 2026. And that's this video.
Peace and Pan Africanism. This is Dr. Umar Tunde coming to you live and direct, New York City, Ethiopian World Federation.
All right, by the way, you notice how it's on there?
Peace and Pan African.
It says certified school psychologist. He doesn't hold a certification currently. Because there's two databases you can look up in Pennsylvania, and he's not listed in either database as a certified school psychologist. So he's lying right there, misrepresenting himself. But he's been doing that for decades now, misrepresenting himself. Library of Blockchains, he still doesn't have an office. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have an office. Okay, and again, what the research shows is that in 2017, I believe he had an office because he was working. No, it was 2014. Here it is right here. 2014, he worked as a school principal for about 3 months. And I know what school it was. Francisca knows about this too. This is a picture of it. This is the only picture that I've ever come across of Umar in an office. And he worked for about 3 months here. They had a high turnover rate at this particular school. And in point of fact, if you guys look and in the foreground, you'll see these pictures right here on some of these this paperwork. Okay, I'll flip this image over, and then I zoomed in on it, and then I was able to identify one of those pictures and then the actual location of this school. And then you can also look outside that window too, and it matches up there too. The point is, this is the only other time that I have on record of Umar actually working outside of 2010, 2011, and this was just for a very brief period, 3 months at most. And this is the last time I had an office. This was as a principal. But let's just be clear about this. I've never, ever seen Umar as a professional psychologist, because he frames it as if he's working independently and he has his own business, if you will, diagnosing children, what have you. I've never seen Umar in an office for that. Has anyone else seen it? Let me look in the chat room. Has anyone else seen Umar in a video or in a picture where he's in an office, a professional office, outside the picture that I showed you, where he's functioning as a psychologist to any degree? Okay, school psychologist, therapist, because he said he's a child therapist too, which he's not. Has anyone ever seen it? Yeah, everyone's saying no. Okay, and if there's anyone who has seen it and you have a picture, or you have, let's say, a video of it, please send it to me. Okay, I'll cash app you $25. Okay, I'll put it in a documentary. Just make sure you have a date, timestamp, that kind of thing. That'd be good. Date and time. No, you don't have time. Just date. Whatever date you know the location it is, please let me know. I've never seen it, and that's telling in and of itself. See, if Umar was a professional, wouldn't he be? Well, not necessarily, but instead of live streaming his mama closet looking all funky and that busted up chair, wouldn't it make more sense for him to live stream from his office in a suit and tie, right? When it's professional and everything looks nice? We don't see that. That's because it doesn't exist. He's still lying about that to this day. He's not a certified. He's just a bum from Philly, right? And I say that factually speaking, right? Thanks, Library of Blockchain. Just start paint, sent in 450 joules for butterfly. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Okay, butterflies. I appreciate that. Okay, let me play a little bit of it. Also, James sent me a link to the one. Let me go pull that up.
This is Dr. Tunde coming to you live and direct, New York City, Ethiopian World Federation 2026 conference. The time has come for the lions to tell our own story, and this is the lion's voice.
Yeah, see, yeah, okay.
Bless it. Bless it.
Yeah, notice the language that Umar, he's saying lion and he's saying blessed, because this is Rasta. See, he's a metamorph. He's a changeling. He's a chameleon. You guys see what I'm saying? Hit the one. He don't normally talk like that. Okay, he's not Rasta. He's not Rasta. But he'll say that, he'll talk that talk just to get in there and to fit in. He's a shapeshifter, right? Some of y'all may not know what I'm talking about, okay? Yeah. Yeah, my wife, she grew up with the Rastas. Her mama and aunt, they was, dreaded up and everything. She had dreads too until the day before she met me. She cut all the dreads off like 25 years ago. So yeah, Umar ain't she know patois and all that stuff. He's a fake. He's a faker. He's a poser. He's a pretendian.
I've always heard of Rasta, but if I were to say when did I first come to truly understand Rasta, I'll tell you. So I blew up, as I call it, in the conscious community in the.
See, notice how it's just about him. This is the ego. Remember, I was telling, look out for this, but also look at his mannerisms. Look at how he talks, his cadence, his vocal inflections. It's much different than what we're used to because he's in the mode right now of self-aggrandizing. He's in the mode of trying to make it's all about him. It's the ego, it's the narcissism and how great he is. This is similar to how when he was talking to that younger lady, she's like in her mid-20s, I would say, talking about how, the resumes for the wifey resumes, it's the same type of thing. And it's just when Umar's in this particular mode, it's a mental state. His mannerisms change, his vocal inflections change, and he talks a lot about himself while making himself to be so very, very important. Okay, you guys can look out for this. It's fascinating.
Fall of 18, Chicago and New York. Okay. My first 5 stops after Chicago and New York would include Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Okay. The Rasta community in Fort Lauderdale was one of the first to invite me down there to speak. Okay. And I don't know if it was my first visit down there or my second, but I ended up sharing the stage with Dr. Julius Garvey. And we spoke together in Fort Lauderdale for the Rasta community. It might have been Black History Month or Kwanzaa or something. So I went down there quite a few times with the Rasta community. So that's when I began to really learn who they were. I saw Rasta, I knew of Rasta, but I never really knew what they stood for. So then there was a Rasta brother from Milwaukee who invited me to accompany him to the Bobo Shanti kingdom in Jamaica. And so we spent a week on Bobo Hill, and that would have been 2012. Oh, wow. It was early, 2012, 2011, somewhere in there, because I spoke at the university.
Umar likes to, what is the word? He likes to get into like this retrospective mode. That's what this is right here. I hope that's the right word to use. Like he's reflecting on his past, his history, and it makes him feel important. I'm sure he's twisting things in a particular way so that it's all about his own self-importance, that I did this and I went here and I did this and blah, blah, blah. But that's the mode that he's in right now.
The West Indies was probably 10, 11. And then I spent that week on Bobo Shanti Hill, probably 11 or 12. And that's when I really got to see it firsthand, to see how serious Rastafari was. And it was good because living in the United States, as you know, not all the Rastas are quote unquote full-time Rastas, right? Yes. So living.
Okay, now this right here, this does two things. Okay. Number one is Umar's way of shaming Black people up over here who are Rasta as if they don't compare. They're not comparable to real, quote unquote, real Rastas in other places. So this is him taking a shot at Black people here in the United States of America. Okay? So that's number one. But number two, what it does is it makes the brother who Umar is interviewing feel as if he is not those Rastas. He's one of the real Rastas. But number three, what it shows you is how Umar, he's divisive, because he's trying to draw a line of demarcation between the so-called real Rastas and the so-called fake Rastas. And those fake Rastas are these Black people up over here who ain't shit. That's why I tell people, if you guys listen carefully to what Umar says, 99% of the time when he's talking about Black people here in the United States of America, it's negative. And that's exactly what he's doing right here. This bum from Philly.
On their ground, in their land, eating their food, watching their spiritual ceremony. that gave me a whole nother level of appreciation and respect for Rastafari. So I would say that's when I first truly understood Rastafari. I just think it was time for someone
Yeah, look like that lip is flaring up too. Y'all see that?
to push that Garveyism back out hard. It had, because I wasn't looking for it. It literally came out of nowhere and just grabbed me.
So when did you know you had that gift? Like when did you, I mean, we know that you're confident, but when did you say, okay, this is an anointing, people are responding to me? When did that realize?
The testimonials. When I start getting elders who would stop me and pull me to the side and be like, I don't ever want you to stop what you're doing because you're changing lives.
Yeah. Again, this is Umar with the self-aggrandizing. That's what this is part of the narcissism and the ego. And yeah, he got that lip is really flaring up. And it's actually in a different spot than it's normally at.
It was them old people who would say, you kept me and my wife together. We was about
This guy, cut it out.
to get a divorce, and we listened to one of your talks on relationships. It saved our marriage.
Okay.
Like, you hear stuff like that. I heard somebody say they was going to take their life, and they listened to one of my talks and changed his mind.
This guy is out there. Let me see if I could find, I want to play something for you, you guys, since he's talking about this topic right here. Let's go to, okay, timeline. Let's see if this populates. Here it is right here. He's supposed to be a school psychologist, right? And his message is helping people to stay alive. Okay, that sounds nice. This is all self-aggrandizing. But let me play for something for you. This is truly disturbing. This is from November 18th of 2021. He was in Columbia, South Carolina. Okay, let me see if this comes up. Okay. And we're going to go to the 1 hour and 13 minute mark. Check this out. In fact, let me play this again. Listen to what he says here.
Anointing, people responding to me. When did that realize?
The testimonials. When I don't ever want you to stop what you're doing because you're changing lives. It was them old people who would say, you kept me and my wife together. We was about to get a divorce, and we listened to one of your talks.
This guy, he's broken up families. What is he talking about?
Relationships, it saved our marriage.
Okay.
Like, you hear stuff like that. I heard somebody say they was going to take their life, and they listened to one of my talks and changed his mind. Brothers coming out of prison.
Now, listen to this.
They're going to go to the world famous Apollo Theater. They're going to go to the Malcolm and Betty Shabazz Center. They're going to go to Malcolm's grave, Dr. Khalid's grave.
This is 2021. This is what he was promoting his college tours with the kids.
Dr. Ben's grave, James Baldwin's grave, Aaliyah's grave. They're also going to go to the National Great Blacks and Wax Museum. They're going to go to the Black African Holocaust Museum in Philadelphia, which is the only museum in America dedicated to the enslavement of African people. I'm going to give them the downtown Philadelphia tour, because people think Philadelphia is the birthplace of freedom. Philadelphia is the birthplace of slavery. Okay, Independence Hall was where they enforced the 1850 fugitive slave law. Okay, we're going to go to Cheney, Lincoln, Morgan State, Coppin State, Bowie, Howard, Hampton, Virginia Commonwealth, University of Maryland, Eastern Shore. There's about 15 HBCUs they're going to hit. I'm going to take them to Great Adventure. They're going to go to Dorney Park. They're going to go to Atlantic City to the beach. They're going to have fun, but they're also going to learn. And every other night in the hotel conference center, there will be a seminar on something that is important for our children. African history, respecting your parents, planning your future, dealing with emotions and anxiety as a young person, which is very important.
Watch
because
this.
in case you don't know, suicide for all black people is up. And for teenage black girls, it is through the roof. And I want all of y'all to know right now, do not play around with children when they say they want to kill themselves. I do not play. Let a child in my presence say they want to kill themselves. You're going to the psychiatric emergency response center, and I know you're going to sit there all night before somebody see you. That's exactly where I'm going to take your ass, so you can sit there all night and know next time don't open your mouth and say you want to hurt yourself unless you mean it.
Yeah, Ad Avis. And Ad Avis been around for a long time. Salute. Okay. I don't know if you male or female, but salute to you, ma'am. Salute to you, sir. You've been around a long time. And you're right. It's just horrible. And children go through things. Adults go through things, real talk. But look at how he's talking about children. And he's, excuse me, he's supposed to be a school psychologist. Just listen, that's just horrible. One more time. Who talks like this?
That is important for our children. African history, respecting your parents, planning your future, dealing with emotions and anxiety as a young person, which is very important because in case you don't know, suicide for all black people is up. And for teenage black girls, it is through the roof. And I want all of y'all to know right now, do not play around with children when they say they want to kill themselves. I do not play. Let a child in my presence say they want to kill themselves. You're going to the psychiatric emergency response center, and I know you're going to sit there all night before somebody see you. That's exactly where I'm going to take your ass, so you can sit there all night and know next time don't open your mouth and say you want to hurt yourself unless you mean it.
Yeah.
But parents, don't think you know your children as well as you think you do when it comes to suicide.
All right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And I'll just put this up here. No mental health professionals talk like this. It's just, it is. You said it perfectly. It's horrible.
So I'll be listening to your talk, listen to one of my talks and changed his mind. Brothers coming out of prison. So I'll be listening to your talk. Relationships, it saved our marriage.
Okay.
Like you hear stuff like that. I heard somebody say they was going to take their life, and they listened to one of my talks and changed his mind. Brothers coming out of prison. So I'll be listening to your talks. You helped me start my own business. You motivated me to, like the testimonials is like, wait a minute. Are they really talking about me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was when I just kind of came to the conclusion that God didn't give you that voice for nothing. There has to be a purpose and a reason to it. But I think that it was the expertise in school psychology
Yes.
that was able to reel the people into the Pan Africanism message. In other words, if I just came with the Pan Africanism, but I had nothing to offer them, I don't think I could have held them.
No.
But it was being able to help them with their children.
Yes.
So they say, okay, I got to listen to the Pan African stuff if I want this.
Exactly.
So I use that to hold them and then feed them with the consciousness. The reason, well, first, I had been invited to speak at some of the EWF conferences in St. Croix.
Okay.
And so by going to the EWF conferences in St. Croix, I got familiar with the EWF,
Okay.
you know, whose mission and vision is very much parallel to that of the UNIA,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Almost like brother-sister organizations. And so I said, this is pretty much in step with what we already stand for and believe in. So how could I not join it? You know, because I just have this belief that if you're a Pan-Africanist, then you should support all sincere Pan-Africanist movements. And with the EWF being as old as it is, I think that we have an obligation to protect those legacies,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So they never die out. Because there's been Pan-Africanist organizations that have died out,
Yes.
you know? So I say, yes, I'm definitely going to join. And then Empress Ima, she arranged for me to go on.
See, again, notice this is a retrospective. Umar, he really enjoys this. It feeds his ego. It feeds the narcissism. And he self-aggrandizes as he goes along. But you notice, look at it, listen to his tone. See, he gets into this mode. It's really fascinating.
Tour in South Africa twice.
Yes.
2015 and 2016, 30 days each. And so by working with her, I got more understanding of EWF. So I would say my affiliation with her and then the experience in St. Croix that really helped solidify. In fact, the gentleman who took me to Bobo Shanti Hill in Jamaica, he invited me, I think it was an EWF function, I'm almost certain it was, St. Croix, And this was early. This was like 2012 or something.
Okay.
He brought me to His Majesty's birthday celebration.
Okay.
He just keeps going. My wife lived in St. Croix. That's not Jamaica, right? That's a different island. Because my wife, she lived in St. Croix too. Yeah, correct me if in the chat room, anyone of y'all from the islands. She lived in St. Croix. She lived in Jamaica and somewhere, I can't remember what the other place was.
In St. Croix. This was right after we went to Bobo Hill. So that might have been my first EWF function.
Okay.
And then it became sometimes St.
St. Croix, Detroit. Yes, okay, that's a different item. It's when she was a child, though. Yeah, I have pictures of, she has pictures too when she was a child. Like they grew up like, she grew up in like, it's just different. It was so different. Anyway, let's go.
St. Croix, sometimes St. Thomas. But I think I probably did about 3 or 4 of them.
Okay.
So I got that exposure to it. And then they said, you need to join. I said, I'm ready, sign me up. So we've been tight ever since.
Orlando.
Yeah, join what? Did he become a Rasta? You fake Rasta, cut it out. All right, let's go.
In such an unexpected place. This is what I mean by that. There's an elder in South Carolina. She works with juveniles.
Okay.
She invited me down to speak to her youth. I spoke to the youth. I said, I would like to speak to the community. She said, well, I got a small little community center and it's pretty small. She said, we can do something there after you speak to the youth. So she set it up for me to speak to the youth. This is 2014, right? We hadn't even started raising money for FDMG yet. Well, right around that time, because we started raising in 2014.
Yeah.
And so I speak at the small.
Yeah, for the St. Paul's College, you were receiving donations at least in 2012, but then also Black Dot said 2010.
Small little event in Columbia, South Carolina. No big deal.
Yeah.
There's a young brother there, college student. He says, you need to go in the Breakfast Club. I said, the Breakfast Club? I said, they don't want no Dr. Umar, no Breakfast Club. He said, well, this is Charlemagne producer's number, or this is the producer's number to the Breakfast Club. He gave me a business card.
Yeah.
And I just remember emailing or calling whatever the contact was. And they set it up.
Okay.
And so the first interview was 2015. And I go up there and I'm sitting in the lobby, the waiting area, and I see Charlemagne and DJ Envy come out, but they don't speak. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here. This is hip hop.
Yeah.
I'm a Pan Africanist. What are we doing here? So I go in, I got on my blue suit, my Phillies hat, right? My first interview with the Breakfast Club, 2015. And they're asking me questions about what I do, this and that, and everything is cool for a minute. But I still don't feel like we connecting.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, somebody brings up ADHD.
Yes.
And when ADHD comes up, Envy lights up.
Yeah.
And he said, I think he said something to the effect that they tried to get me to put my son on meds, or they wanted to diagnose him with that. And I said, nah, this is what it is. This is what, if you watch the interview, that's when it connects right there. I go to the Sprint store, right?
Again, this is all retrospective. Okay, this feeds his ego. It's all about him and how great he is. It's a great experience and so forth and so on. Yeah, I'm going to finish this up today. Okay, real quick though, let me pull up. This is Umar talking about the secret society, the FDMG secret society. Check this out.
Yeah, me too. And I'm going to analyze it because Harriet Tubman.
A thorough investigation.
Oh, a thorough one. Because they better have I'm very serious about Harriet Tubman and what she did. She's my #1 shero. Okay?
I can understand.
You ready for this? Within the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, right? Mm-hmm. There will be a secret society based on academic, revolutionary, and military mastery. Only my best students who achieve will get into this secret African society. And guess what?
This guy is nuts. He said this secret Africans. This guy, this guy.
A secret society based on academic, revolutionary, and military mastery. Only my best students who achieve will get into this secret African society. And guess what it will be called?
What?
The Nat Turner Harriet Tubman Brigade.
Okay, listen. You doing too much, Umar. You doing too much. Yeah, it's another cult. It's a secret society.
A secret society based on academic, revolutionary, and military mastery. Only my best students who achieve will get into this secret African society. And guess what it will be called? The Nat Turner Harriet Tubman Brigade. You got to earn that. The Nat Turner and Harriet Tubman Brigade will be the highest level of achievement you can reach in the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. But my point I wanted to make, people saying they don't want to see another movie about slavery, right?
Yeah, you hear blacks say that all the time.
You hear blacks say that all the time. Shut your ass up. They always say, them blacks, the blacks. Cut it out. Y'all so negative. That's what he said. That's like, Umar, he do too much every time. Yeah, Umar be the only one in it. Yeah, him and Sharon. Him, Sharon, and Teeth. Let me stop. He is, Deshaun. He's a big old kid. The brigade. We're going to have a clubhouse. We're going to have popsicles and ice cream. He's a big old kid. We're going to drive around in go-karts. We're going to eat sardines. Each one of the kids are going to get sardine. Okay. Oh, man. Umar is wild, boy. He wild. All right. We're going to have a pickle fork. Oh, man. A pillow fort. I remember those. Yeah, because you could use the couch pillows, the big ones. You could put, you know what I'm talking about? Back in the day. All right. Let me get out this chat room while I get caught up further like yesterday. All right, we're winding this down. Let's go back to the other video because we want to get through this today. Here we go.
And the brother, give me your number. He pulls me up. He said, wait a minute. You the guy from the Breakfast Club? He said, that interview is everywhere. And that's when I really said.
And we're not, let me stop.
The ancestors might have me on a mission. Because I never would have thought that those Breakfast Club interviews, all of them, would have went as, I don't even think they expected it to either. It was a shock for all of us. Because none of the previous guests, Baba Dick Gregory, I think he still has the highest viewed single Breakfast Club political interview. He still got the highest one. But outside of that one, I got all the rest. And I don't think nobody foresaw, even myself, at how much the Breakfast Club listeners were open to and supportive of my message. And if you were to ask me what has been the biggest shock of my whole journey, it has been how mainstream a radical Pan Africanist personality has become, right? And the third piece, I think, Baba, is my tendency to interject a little humor.
I was going to say you're genuinely funny.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. Because, and this is why I use the humor. As you know, the subject matter that we have to deal with in this global African liberation struggle, it can be quite depressing, right? Yes. Some people, especially our people who don't want no responsibility to change anything, you start telling me I got to.
See the negativity about black people? Y'all catch that? Okay, he disparages black people over and over and over again.
Do this and this and this. I'm gonna just cut you off and leave. So you got to hold them there. And I hold them with the comedy. If I can make them laugh, if I can make it a little light, they'll tolerate it more.
Yes.
So the humor is a hook that keeps them listening to the message.
Yes.
And I think one thing that I've been blessed with that has really helped as well is, as serious as I am in my political principles and as serious as I am about Pan Africanism, I am not inflexible.
Yes.
In other words, as you know, a lot of brothers and sisters in the liberation struggle, no matter what their ideological orientation, they can be kind of dictatorial, narcissistic, closed-minded. If you don't.
Okay, this is Umar projecting here. Let's go through each one.
I am not inflexible.
Yes.
In other words, as you know, a lot of brothers and sisters in the liberation struggle, no matter what their ideological orientation, they can be kind of dictatorial.
Yeah, Umar's dictatorial. That's why he wants no transparency. He doesn't want any board of directors. He doesn't want any oversight with what he's doing with FDMG. It's his way or the highway. He talks like that in his lectures. He's dictatorial. I've talked about this. He's a megalomaniac. He wants total power and control. It's part of the narcissism, but it's also part of the cult mentality.
Narcissistic.
Okay, Umar is narcissistic. Okay, delusions of grandeur, the need for attention, the need for praise. Look at him. Damn, this guy. Okay, he's narcissistic. We've talked about that for years with this guy.
Closed-minded.
He's also closed-minded. It's always his way or the other way. It's white or black, or there's no gray area in between. You either listen to him or you ain't. Yeah, that's Umar. Let's go.
If you don't see the world as I see the world, I can't mess with you.
Yeah, he's projecting to the fullest right here. It's interesting.
The complete opposite, although I'm strict with my principles.
Yes, yes.
So if I'll see your brother on the street, Dr. Umar, I got a white wife, but I want to take this picture with you. Come on, we got to take this picture, bro. But next time I see you, you need to have a black wife. So it's like, they like,
how ridiculous is that?
he didn't destroy me. You know what I mean? He's still allowing me to have some respect.
Yes.
You know, I see the sister with the weave, like, Queen, come on, what is we doing? I think they appreciate the fact that despite how strict I am in my views, I give you room to grow at your own speed.
Okay, it's interesting that he thinks that he has that level of power over anyone, wherein he can say, I give you, how does he frame this? It's even hard for me to think like that. This guy.
Appreciate the fact that despite how strict I am in my views, I give you room.
Okay, I give you room. Who are you? Why does he think that he has the power to give someone else the room to do anything? Okay, again, that's the megalomania and the narcissism. Yeah, he doesn't. Umar's not a principled man. He has no code of honor, etc. Yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely true. He doesn't. Okay, no code of honor.
To grow at your own speed.
Yes.
I really think that's helped a lot.
As if he's so progressed. He's living in mama closet.
Now, the other thing I would add is this, same thing here. Those of us who live in the receiving community, we should have an office of newly arrived Africans where if you show up in New York, you show up in Philly, you show up in Johannesburg, we want to invite you to an orientation.
Yeah, this is all head movies, and it's always framed like we need this, but you don't do nothing. It's always about what we gonna do. I'm going.
Yes.
Fill this out. We want to know who you are. We want to make sure you understand where to go, where not to go. This is where you get your best price on food. These are places that are hiring. Show them we care. Where's the brotherhood and the sisterhood? Where's the fellowship? Because now if you invite them in, here's some coffee. We just want to talk. We just want to get to know you. Now they're like, wait, that is my brother and sister. They're not a separate community. That's my family. But we don't receive each other well. Just as I said earlier, when you visit a home, there's a certain decorum you should carry. When you receive visitors in your home,
Yeah, you don't have a home though, Umar. So ridiculous.
there's a certain decorum you should carry. So when I look at it, I think all of us are at fault. I think that in the diaspora, we probably need an office of repatriation.
Yes.
And I think that people who want to go back to Africa have to be trained appropriately.
Yeah, this repatriation ties to his cult as well. Okay, this ties to Hanera because she's getting women, and her main focus is women, to get them and take them over to Africa to join that cult over there. Right. So when he's talking about repatriation, he's been talking about this for over a decade. He doesn't talk about it as much these days, but a lot of this has to do with the cult dynamic of getting women in particular over here in the United States of America to go over to Africa to get indoctrinated into this cult up over there. We talked about that last week.
Especially in the social, right? Because one ignorant behavior that was made out of innocence could affect relationships for the next 100 years. So I think we have to make sure we send the right people to be the first generation who go back to build. Because we don't want a repeat of what we had in Liberia when those Americo-Liberians came back with that white consciousness and went to war with the native Liberians. So I think we need to be very careful who the first wave will be, because they're going to dictate that relationship between both sides for the next 100 years. I don't just think it's, I want to go to Africa. Nah, let's do an interview. You feel me? Is that how you're going to be wearing your hair over there? Are you taking that white Jesus with you over there? Your son got the white girl. You think she coming over there? You see what I'm saying? We got to really make sure we send in people who have been re-Africanized as much as you can be, not being there. People who are open to being taught and how to understand, because unfortunately,
he assumes that Africa is one thing, like there's one African culture. It's simply not true. It's not true at all. Just ridiculous. And you're going to re-Africanize? What does that mean? A lot of Africans, they trying to get up over here. And a lot of them have come up over here and they're doing real good too. What you talking about, Umar? Especially the Nigerians. They whooping everybody's ass. Real talk. Know what you talk about, Umar?
As you know, we picked up a lot of the arrogance and narcissism of white culture. So we'll go to Africa thinking we're coming to teach them something. Nah, you're coming to humble you.
No. But see, Umar's perspective on Africa is that he's going to liberate Africa. So what are you talking about? You need to humble yourself.
Ask to be taught, and you will assist as you see it is necessary and as they allow you. It is a collaboration. It is not you going to free the jungle. That is not what this is. You got to have the right mindset going over there. So I think we got to be strategic, because the FBI is always working, the CIA is always working. Nobody wants to see black
this is paranoia.
America and black Africa together. And of course, we know back in 1978, 79, there was a national security memorandum that came out that specifically said we have to disrupt the relationship between black Africa and black America. This is the NSA saying that solidarity between these two communities can undermine our foreign agenda. So they basically said Pan Africanism is a threat to everything we want to do. So if we know that, I can see them trying to infiltrate these groups that we send back with reactionaries who will go to Africa and cause trouble on purpose to prevent the unification. So we got to be very strategic as to how we go back and who we send back. There's the gift and there's the curse, right? The gift is our people have been able to digest the importance of black on black love. I've been able to make it popular enough for people to laugh about it and talk about it. I've raised the racial consciousness as far as romance goes, which is a good thing.
Yeah. So you see, this is all about him and his ego and arrogance and about all these things that he's allegedly accomplished, but or the impact that he's had. But understand that this is just Umar. He's in a very specific mode of thinking right here. Okay? There has to be some sort of psychological conditions associated with this, because he is specifically talking about retrospectively his accomplishments and his impact, and he just keeps going and going and going. But it's all self-aggrandizing. It's head movies.
Because I've been to events, Baba, where I see a brother with a white girl. I'll come back 5 years later, he got a sister. And he's showing me, Dr. Umar, look, I switched out. And this happens regularly. You know what I mean? So I see the influence. On the other side, I gotta be careful with the memes and the humor because the message is still serious. And if you play with it too much, you're taking the fiber out of the message. You see what I'm saying? So when people ask me about how I feel about your saturation into the mainstream culture, I appreciate the benefits, right? The word is getting out there. Our people are grabbing it and seeing it. But at the same time, I don't want them to joke about it so much that it loses its sting. So it's a balancing act that I always find myself in. So for example, I might have a young person come up, Dr. Umar, can I take a picture? You know, I think you're very humorous. Time out. What have you learned from what I said? I never intended for white folks to know me as well as they do.
They know you well.
You feel me?
See this?
That's the Breakfast Club effect. That's because before the Breakfast Club, I could hide in plain sight. Nobody knew me but black folks. You feel me? Now I can't hide in plain sight no more, which I gotta always be on guard because everybody know who you are now. You feel me? Whereas before it was cool. When I wasn't in my community, I could hide. No more.
You're the zeitgeist.
And the interviewer, he's feeding his ego. He says, you're in the zeitgeist. Okay, this is all head movies. Brandon says a secret society that he's discussing publicly. How does that work? Yeah. You know, what I think, Brandon, is when Umar was being interviewed and he's talking about how these boys are going to be part of a secret society, you know, FDMG, I guess you would call it the FDMG secret society. Umar, he's fascinating because he gets into different modes of thinking. Sometimes his thinking, like we're watching here, and it's not as common. It's more retroactive. He's reflecting on perceived past accomplishments and achievements. Okay, most of the time it's just he's making it up. It's not true, but it gives the illusion that he's great, but it's more for him. It's more for his ego. And then you have the person who's interviewing him. He's kind of placating to Umar, and that feeds his ego too. But that's a different mindset. The other mindset where Umar was talking about how there's going to be a secret society and all the Harriet Tubman Brigade or whatever he says, that's Umar when he's in more of a manic state. And in his mania, his imagination is all out of control. And he just comes up with all types of things. We've seen this with Umar quite a bit. So if it is in fact a secret society, why is he talking about it? It's just something that he came up with, and he's just sharing it like a child. You know, I'm going to walk up the wall like a spider, you know, this kind of thing. But there's different mindsets here. One is more manic and it's more imaginative, and it's Umar just with the head movies. The other one is more retrospective. That's the word I was looking for. I apologize. More retrospective, and he's thinking about his past, but he's framing it in a way to where he's achieved all these great things. He has this major impact, and now he's in the zeitgeist, this type of thing. But yeah, if it is a secret society, why is he talking about it? And you know, the truth of the matter is that there cannot be an FDMG secret society because there is no FDMG. See? But Umar, he plays in fantasy land. He's truly delusional. Man. Thanks, Brandon. Quiet Cypher sent in 200 jewels and says, Javin, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Okay, we're going to go. I know we're way over time. We're going to go for like another 10 minutes to get done with this video. Then we'll be up out of here. We'll be back tomorrow too with another live stream. Knife Boy Gamer says, guys like this love living in the past or future, never the present, because current life is miserable. It makes them sound crazy. Yes. And this is precisely stated. Okay. This is what I was referring to earlier, that Umar's present is he has to return back to his mama's closet. That's his reality. Okay. No job, no legitimate business. Children don't like him. He's on child support, complaining about that all the time. He's homeless, living inside Section 8 housing with his mama, doesn't have a vehicle. And this goes on and on and on. Okay. Well, I've already stated that, so no need to rehash. That's his reality. That's his present. But what Umar is doing in this video that we were just watching is that he's living in the past, and it feeds his ego. He's reshaping the past to make it seem like he's great in all these achievements and experiences and all that. And he goes on and on and on. He enjoys that. It actually makes him feel good. It's feeding his ego and the narcissism. And then, of course, when we talk about living in the future, that's when Umar's saying things like, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and we're going to turn the boys into black Rambos, and we're going to build an observatory up on the roof, and the school's going to open in 2013 and 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26, and now he's saying 2027. That's living in the future. But see, all of that is head movies. Okay, it's delusions of grandeur, but it makes Umar feel good to live in fantasy land. And it's in a form of escapism. It's a vacation, theme of the day, from Umar having to deal with his present. The present is that Umar, like I said before, I don't want to rehash, but he's in essence, he's a bum from Philly. See? And I say that legitimately, and not to shame him or anything. He's a bum from Philly, living off his mom at the age of 51. He's about to be 52. Okay? So most of what Umar does is it's to escape his current life and the misery that it is. And I'm going to say something that nothing's going to change for the better if you're always running from the misery. You know, if you're afraid to address, and I mean, I've had to do this, afraid to address the issues that you have, the iniquities, things that you need to work on, things that you need to aspire towards, and put a plan together to get to where you need to be and beyond. See, nothing's going to change unless you do that. And Umar, he's unwilling to deal with that in the first place because he's too busy living in the past or talking about the future that doesn't exist. And a lot of the future stuff he's talking about is he's never going to materialize any of that stuff. He needs to deal with his present. Last point on this. He needs to deal with the reality of his situation as it currently is. And any man or woman, for that matter, if you deal with your situation as it currently is, and you're honest about it, and then you figure out what you need to change, and then come up with a plan, and it has to be a good plan. Follow that plan day by day, your life will get better. But that's not what we see with Umar. It's gotten worse and worse and worse. And instead of dealing with his current situation, which has gotten worse and worse and worse, he lives in fairy tale land, whether it is in the past or him living in the future. Okay. Yeah, very well said here too, by the way. Thank you so much. Truck Talk says, how much money do you think Umar has in liquid cash right now, personal and school? Something tells me that the more active he gets, the less money he has. No, I think that is the case. I don't know how much liquid. I have no idea. I really can't answer that, Truck Talk. But it's true that when money gets low, he has to become more active to get more money. See, that's survival mode. And Umar doesn't plan for the future. That's not what he does. He dreams about a future, but he doesn't plan in the present for the future. That's a problem. So him going up there today to go walk in front of these trap bandos and run his mouth a little bit, that's him trying to be active to get more money because the money is low. And I called that. I said he's gonna get on the Art of Dialogue. They're gonna pay him a little something. He's gonna go smoke that money up, and then once he's done, he's gonna go back up there to those trap bandos to beg for money, and that's what he did today. I called it. I've called it in the past too. So you're right. When he will get more active, not because that's who he is, that he's a man that's gonna handle business. He gets more active as a reaction to the fact that the money is getting low, or is non-existent, liquid. And so he gets up here and he gets to begging, just like he did today. Yeah. Thank you, Truck Talk. TJ says, narcissist, he thinks he's bigger than the program. Yeah, Umar, he thinks like that. See, but again, if he deals with his present, he realized that he's nothing more than a bum from Philly. But he lives in the past with all this other stuff, and then he lives in the future where he's achieving all this stuff in the future. Not that past, how he frames it, it's an illusion, it's a delusion. Okay, it's him self-aggravated. Just he overstates stuff. The term is I can't think of the term. Yeah, it's a form of exaggeration, but there's a specific term. He exaggerates all his accomplishments, but then in the future, all these future great things he's going to do and he's going to achieve. He never does any of that. Okay, but his current situation is such that it's really, really bad, and the narcissist can't deal with that because they think that they're he calls himself the Black Christ. So mentally, psychologically, even emotionally, he can't deal with his current situation, and that's why it's gotten worse and worse and worse. He's delusional. All right. East B, thank you, TJ. East B says, good show. Thank you so much, East B. We're winding this down now. Thank you for tuning in, too, as always. I appreciate you. And thank you for the super chat. Thanks, everyone else, too, for all the super chats and the super stickers and also for the jewels. All right. Shout out to East B. Truck Talk sent in 30 jewels and says, Clutch, thank you so much. And then TJ says, Umar is performative and lives a Peter Pan life. Yeah, we were talking about this last week. Somebody had mentioned that FDMG is Umar's, can't remember what Peter Pan and whatever his Neverland. That's Umar's Neverland. And it's so very true. Okay, it's a mental delusion that Umar Johnson has created, and it's more like something in the future that he's going to achieve. But that's just escapism from his present. It's more like Umar's mental vacation. It's fascinating, but it's sad too, because nothing's going to get better in his life until he deals with his current situation and circumstance. Thank you, TJ. Okay, thanks you guys again for all. Let's finish this up. Okay, we're gonna go for 5 more minutes. Here we go. Shout out everyone into good question. Also, let me go ahead and close out this poll. The poll question was, yeah, that's the word, embellish. That's exactly the word. Thank you so much. That's the word I was thinking. Umar spends a lot of time embellishing things. He's like a child just making up and adding extra hot sauce to it when there ain't no hot sauce in it. How much FDMG donation money has Umar Johnson spent on clothes, shoes, hats, and accessories since 2014? 12% said $20,000 to $30,000. 8% said $30,000 to $40,000. 10% said $40,000 to $50,000, and 70% said more than $50,000. Okay, my answer is more than $50,000. You rarely see Umar wearing the same clothes. Okay, he will wear the same jeans, yes, but I'm talking about the dashikis and the different types of shirts that he wears, and that stuff, those dashiki stuff, that's expensive stuff. Okay. The fitted hats, the jewelry, like we see he has a jewelry on, it all adds up, and Umar likes to spend, he likes to shop, and then he chastises Black people for shopping, but he has a shopping addiction, and that's why you rarely see Umar with the same clothes on. It's more than $50,000 over the last 12 years, okay? All right. Let me go ahead and close out that poll. Thanks everyone who voted on that poll. And our goal for likes today was 400. We are at 477. We have an outside chance to get to 500. Okay. If you haven't hit that like button, we need 23 more people to get to 500. Can we make that happen in 5 minutes? Let's see if we can make it happen. Okay. Y'all awesome. Thank you everyone in Cook. Also, thanks to the Miles for handling business. Also, Shatstopa sent in 10 jewels and gold coin. Thank you so much for that gold coin. I appreciate it. I'm going to put it in my pocket and save it for a month. I'm going to save it for a whole month. I'm going to go cash it in. All right. Thank you. Okay, here we go.
Like
yes.
You are a universal,
yes.
symbol in terms
yes.
of anytime interracial dating.
Yes.
It feeds his ego. He gets happy.
Yes. And I don't mind it.
Yeah.
And when I run into the snow bunnies, I can tell when they know, because they be looking angry and mad and nasty. I can always tell.
No, not at all. These white women ain't worrying about you, Umar. Look at this guy.
I go to the doctor's office. The way she look at, she know who I am.
Yeah.
And she don't even want to wait on me. You know what I mean? But my
cut it out. Stop.
thing with them is I tell them, nobody's against you.
Yes.
I'm for my own people. I ain't got no hate for no other group. I love being African.
Do you hate Black people, though? You always disparaging Black people.
And I constantly find myself having to clarify that, even with our own people, because when they hear nationalism, Pan African nationalism, well, this must be the Black version of white nationalism. Nah, white nationalism comes with a necessity to hate. Black nationalism does not. Black nationalism simply means we want control over our own destiny. It has nothing to do with y'all. I have no interest in hurting no white people, no red people, no yellow people, no brown people. I just want sovereignty for Black people. The update on FDMG is this. The school has been completely done since February.
The building.
The building. The Marcus Garvey Elementary School. Completely.
Okay, listen, we know that's not true. We just watched Brother Enterprise's video yesterday. This guy, Umar, he lies so much, it's incredible. This guy, he will lie about anything. QB, how's it going to send in 10 jewels and a thumbs up? Thumbs up to you. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. And then Be Highly Opinionated said, nobody is changing their preference or what they like based off what Umar says. Be so for real. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Who is Umar to them in their everyday life? Nobody. But this is Umar with the narcissism and the sense of self-importance. This is something I always wondered about Umar. Real quick, I know we almost out of here. This is something I always wondered about Umar. Why does he think that his opinion it matters to people so much? Because he's okay, excuse the pun. Umar is extremely opinionated about everything. See, and it's okay to have an opinion, but when you think that your opinion matters to people when it doesn't, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? I have all types of opinions. But do I think that my opinion is so important to other people that when I express it, it's going to they're going to change? You know, let's say if it's a man who has a white wife, and I say, listen, it's wrong to be doing all that. Then because my opinion is so important, they're going to change. Oh, okay, I'm going to get a sister, brother. I'll do that tomorrow. Oh, cut it out. But there's something about Umar's psychology where he really thinks that his opinion matters to everyone and that it is so important to everyone. That his opinion, as stated, can change people in ways that are miraculous, I guess we can say. Maybe that's not the appropriate word, but it's just over the top. That's something I've always wondered about Umar. Why does he think that his opinion matters so much? And I'm going to say that I would think that it has to do with the narcissism. That narcissists think that they are so important and so great that whatever they have to say, it matters to everyone, to the point where a person would change their preference or change their life or change their decisions just because of this narcissist opinion. That's what I think it is. Let me just do something real quick. What does it mean when a person thinks that their opinion is important to everyone? So when a person thinks that their opinion is important to everyone, it often means they have an inflated sense of self-importance. That's the narcissism. High ego narcissism, or a cognitive bias where they view their personal beliefs as universal facts. That's part of narcissism too. This mindset reflects how they process the world and interact with others around them. That's Umar. Psychological meaning, ego and identity. They tie their personal worth to being right, seeing disagreement as a threat to their identity. That's like Cheyenne Bryant's the same way. Cognitive distortion. They suffer from always being right syndrome, making it hard to accept the other views that other views matter or that they can make mistakes. Lack of perspective. They struggle with empathy this is all narcissism, understanding that others have independent values and priorities. Social behavior, unsolicited advice. That's Umar. They frequently share thoughts when no one asks. Dismissing others. They treat differing views as ignorance rather than validated alternative choices. Powerful. See? And then needing validation. They look for constant agreement to feel secure. And even when Umar's given this talk, you can tell that he wants validation from the interviewer, and he gets it when the interviewer is kind of placating to him. And you can tell Umar perks up because of that. Fascinating stuff. Yeah. Thank you, Be Highly Opinionated. I appreciate it. Okay, and then Natasha sent in 2 jewel sparkles. Thank you so much for that. I feel great with those. Okay, Tia says he has a fascination with white women. He does. He's always talking about snow bunnies, and I've said this in the past. That's what he desires, and that's okay. Men, if you desire a Mexican woman, fine. You want a black, well, that's fine. Fine. It don't matter. It don't matter. Just get you a good one, whatever she may be. We all have our preferences. I get it, but to me, a woman is a woman. See, and I again, my wife and I've been together for 25 years, and when you with someone is a good woman that long, you have an appreciation. You learn to appreciate things, everything, right? And then you appreciate women too on a whole nother level. And you're not thinking about, okay, is this woman, is she Italian? Is she Korean? Is she Japanese? Is she you ain't weren't South African or from Peru. You ain't thinking about that. At least I wouldn't be thinking. I'm married, but I'm just saying I wouldn't even be thinking about that. But Umar is always talking about white women. Why? Because that's what he desires. Just like he be talking about these women with the weaves because that's what he desires. And he be talking about fish and all this. Let me stop. I always forget what the fish is called. What are the fish called? Anchovies? Umar, he talk about the anchovies because that's what he want, anchovy. All right. Sardines, I'm sorry. Anyway, and it's okay. If Umar want a white woman, that's perfectly fine. I wouldn't trip if he got a white woman and showed up next week and she got on dashiki, a white woman with dashiki. You know, I would not. I'd be like, okay, fine, as long as you happy. Because a woman's a woman at the end of the day. Okay. Anyway, thanks, TJ. Afrocentric woman sent in 440 jewels, says, Uncle alert, Uncle. Thank you so much, Afrocentric woman. Now, this is OG right here. Okay. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me over all these many months. Okay. I appreciate you. Steven sent in 440 jewels and says, Uncle alert, Uncle alert. Okay. All right. A lot of Uncle alerts going on. Thank you so much, Steven. I appreciate it. And then, what's up, Big Dave? I ain't seen you up here in a minute. It says his examples of his impact are someone. See, his impact of, let's see, his examples of his impact are someone changing their sexual partner or their. No, this is true because this is what Be Highly Opinionated was alluding to earlier. That he thinks that his impact has something to do with a person changing their sexuality or their sexual partner or their hair. It's never improving physical, mental, or securing a better future for their family. And this is perfectly stated. And one of the reasons why is because Umar doesn't have a reference point for a family. Okay. And the basis of the family is a male-female relationship, right? He doesn't have a point of reference for that because he's never been in a long-standing relationship with a woman. And he don't take care of his kids. He don't have a family. See, how do you have 3 baby mamas, but you ain't got no family? Somebody, real quick, give me 15 seconds. How do you have 3 baby mamas and no family? You supposed to be an alpha male? 3 baby mamas and not one family. And still out here running through these women with reckless abandon with the bumpity bump. Make it make sense. See, the thing is, who's the common denominator? So Umar talk about the black family. We're going to teach the boys, the science of the black family. Well, where's your family at, homeboy? But impregnating all these women and not taking care of your kids, that's what a family is? No, he don't know what a family is. He has no idea. But he sure will run his mouth about it. But you don't hear him talking about securing a better future for your family. He don't have a frame of reference. He got 3 baby mamas, though. Thanks, Big Day. Good to see you, too. It's been a while. Shout out to the Colts. Okay. Fi Taylor sent in a super sticker. Thank you so much, Fi Taylor. Okay. We're going to finish this up here now. It's 5 minutes, I promise. Here we go.
Done. Okay. The problem is our building inspector.
Yes.
Here he goes.
Who's from Jamaica. Is a Dr. Umar hater.
This lie is so ridiculous. I'm gonna let it play.
Okay.
And he don't want to give us our final inspection
Okay.
so we can get our certificate of occupancy.
Yes.
We're being held up by a brother from the land of Garvey. You would have.
This guy is lying and he lies so effortlessly. It's amazing. There's people who believe this foolishness. It's always something, though. He's lying like so effortlessly.
He don't want to give us our final inspection
Okay.
so we can get our certificate of occupancy.
Yes.
We're being held up by a brother from the land of Garvey. You would have never thought this, right?
I'm so tempted to call this brother that had sent me the email. He's in the government out there in Wilmington and ask him specifically for information regarding the individual who is responsible for the process of applying for and passing inspections for a certificate of occupancy, and then get that person's boss, and then also get that person's boss's boss, and make phone calls to see and to verify. And I already know Umar's lying, okay, but I just think that it's he is. He's lying with impunity. I know he's lying. It's just that Umar, he tells a lie so effortlessly now, and because he's told it so many times at this point, and he's added more things to it. He's more specific. I call it specificity. He can tell it in a way to where it sounds somewhat believable, but it's still a lie. And look at him just sitting there just lying like that.
And then his boss, which is a female, I'm not sure if she's American, African, Caribbean, African. It don't matter because we all one. But she ain't forced.
No, that if we were all one, he wouldn't make the distinction in the first place, right? He wouldn't make the distinction between immigrants, African or Jamaican immigrants or African immigrants or any other type of immigrant. He wouldn't make the distinction. He's supposed to be a Pan Africanist, right? Supposed to be all inclusive, allegedly. No. He already set up a line of demarcation. He calls it DAFA. Is it DAFA? Yeah, I think it's DAFA. Descendants of African freedmen in America. That excludes Black immigrants or African immigrants or immigrants from Jamaica. You see how contradictory he is?
From the land of Garvey. You would have never thought this, right? And then his boss, which is a female, I'm not sure if she's American, African, Caribbean, African. It don't matter because we all one. But she ain't forcing him to do it. And her boss ain't forcing her to do it. So to make a long story short, the school is ready, been sitting there for 4 or 5 months.
No, it's not ready. And
because 3 Black people will not get out the way.
See this guy?
And let us get started with it. We're being held up by 3 Black people. 3 of our own people are keeping us from opening the school. And I've been asked that several times. And what I always tell people is this: I cannot reveal the people on the team, or they'll become subject of the same slanderous attacks online as I got. The difference is I'm self-employed.
There is no team. What are you talking about, Umar? My son, he having a good time. Hope you guys can't hear
people is this: I cannot reveal the people on the team, or they'll become subject of the same slanderous attacks online as I got. The difference is I'm self-employed.
No, you're not. What's your business, Umar? What is your business? You a school psychologist, but you self-employed? What's your business exactly? And no, you speaking at these chicken shacks, that's not no legitimate business. And it can't be social media because you ain't making no money on social media. So where are you self-employed? And there's nothing wrong with being self-employed. But how are you making your money? Doing podcasts? And then you smoke the money up and then you be right back up there like you was today, begging for money, looking smoked out. Anyway, this guy. You ain't self-employed. Okay, people give you money for a school that don't exist, and that's it. Well, how's it going, your kids? Well, she just said sent in 440 jewels. Says Uncle Alert. Okay, a lot of Uncle Alerts today. I don't know why. Am I looking older today? I don't know. Thank you. Your kids will see this. And then Library Blockchain says you can make a freedom of information request for the name of the employees in charge of building inspections and everyone else. Yeah, I mean, I don't even think I would need to do that. I think because I did the research to find, there's a website and you can see it's zoned in a particular way. And what I mean by that is that there are zones in Wilmington wherein the person in charge of building inspection or for the certificate of occupancy, they have a certain zone or area that they're responsible for. Then there'll be another area for another person, right? And another area for another person, and another area for another person. And what's fascinating is on that website, when you go on there and you go to where these trap banners is located, it doesn't show a zone for any particular person. But all I would need to do, and I wouldn't even have to call, I can actually email the brother that emailed me last year. Because remember when Umar was saying that the city of Wilmington was trying to steal the buildings from him? Well, I'll talk with someone who was in government. I can't remember the brother's name right now. And I had emailed him because he had a correspondence with another brother here on YouTube. And basically he told the other brother that Umar was lying. Okay, we covered all this last year. But before I brought the story forward to you guys, I wanted to verify it. So I contacted the guy from the city, and he responded back with an email. I mean, and all I would need to do is I could just email him and say, listen, this is what's going on with Umar. He's saying that the city of Wilmington, that there's an inspector for the certificate of occupancy that's sabotaging him, and he's saying that it's not just that person, it's their boss and their boss's boss. Is it possible for you to provide me with the name and phone number of the individual who is responsible for these buildings in Wilmington, Delaware, when it comes to the zoning for certificate of occupancy? And I would just ask for that person, and then I would contact that person and ask them, okay, are you sabotaging? I mean, it's not, they're not sabotaging Umar, but this is what I would do. And then I would say, can I speak with your superior? Because Umar is saying that your superior is also in on this and sabotaging. Can I speak with, and if that person gave me that number, then I would go and talk with them, and then I would do the same thing. And then at the end, I'll say, can I speak with your superior? And I would go to that superior and ask the same question. Okay, Umar is lying. I already know that he's lying. Okay, but I just think that some things are beyond the scope. Because if I do something like that, then Umar, he's going to get online and say, now, LenonHonor, he's sabotaging me because he's contacting the city and he's trying to get me sabotaged. Yeah, anyway. Thanks, Library Blockchain. He always has an excuse. From the beginning, he had excuses. Okay, and he still has excuses. He's given hundreds of them over the years. Thanks, Library Blockchain. What's up, Kadar? Says Lenon, the last time Umar claimed expenses on his taxes was 2021. Look at his filings. Aren't repairs considered to be expensive? Yeah, they would be. Yeah, they would be. But Umar hasn't spent a lot of money doing repairs. He hasn't. Okay, he did get electricity turned on, and that was work that was, from what I remember, I thought that was like $60,000 or $70,000, something like $71,000, something like that back in the day. I just can't remember what the figure was. He got some toilets put in. He said, he claimed that he got some plumbing done. Okay, yeah, there was some plumbing done. Okay, he got roof work done. That was in 2020, I believe. But when we talk about hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's like over $1 million. He hasn't put $1 million worth of work into this at all. So if he's only claimed expenses, or he's filed expenses for 2021, well, what about the expenses for 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025? The 2025 isn't out yet for some reason. He may have not even filed. It's just a big mess all the way across the board. If Umar had a board of directors, and yeah, he set this up. Logic had said this earlier. He set this up so that it would only be necessary for him to be on the board of directors. But if he had a board of directors, there would be oversight, and then there will be more transparency. But that's not what, and that would also include transparency with what's being filed in terms of taxes. But Umar's not doing any of that stuff. See, and here we are, last point, and we're going to finish up. Here we are in 2026, August 11th of 2026, and Umar has to come up with any old type of lie that he can come up with, including the current lie about sabotage from the city, in order to keep this going and justify why it is that he doesn't have a certificate of occupancy. And I'm going to tell you guys, Umar knows that when he files, or if he put in paperwork, if he applies, one of the first things that they're going to do is they're going to look at that address, and they're going to go on the website. It's a website, of a city website, and they're going to go and look up what permits have been pulled for renovation work. And there's going to be a glaring and it's going to be extremely glaring discrepancy between the amount of work that was done and the actual what they call it. I just lost it in my mind. And the I was going to say certificate of occupancy, the permits, to do the work in the first place. And once they see that, it's already done. It's over with. There's no need to proceed. They're going to ask him, okay, we need to see all the permits for all the work that has been done up here, because it's glaring. There's a couple of them here, but not enough to justify. We can't go in there and without work being done by professionals. We're not going to do that. And Umar knows that. So that's why he has to come up with an excuse as to why he can't he's not even applying. He ain't even applied. You can do that on the website. The same website I was talking about that shows the zonings for different people that do the inspections or who are responsible for that inspection for that area. The same website, that's what you can either call the number, or you can actually go online and go through the process online and just click a date, select the date and time that's available on the calendar. It's that simple. Anyway, thank you, Kadar. Okay, let's finish this up. I'm not going to comment. I'm just going to let this play. Here we go. Look at this guy. Look at him. See his eyes? Cult leaders do this. The Heaven's Gate guy used to do this.
They're not. So if people dig all into their business, all into their background and start slandering them, because you see what he stole all the money. You know, we done been audited by the.
Okay, real quick. I never stated that Umar stole all the money. I'm saying that he stole most of the money. Okay, to be clear. Anyway, he's going to say that they were audited by the IRS. Okay, show the paperwork for that. Show and prove.
IRS? Mm-hmm. They've called the Attorney General on me.
I ain't never called no Attorney General on you.
Yeah, I can imagine.
The governor, FBI.
What? Stop. What else, Umar?
Baba, any and everybody you can be reported to, we've been reported to.
Yes.
By you two being struggle streamers.
Here he go. And notice how he says we. There is no we. I know I said I ain't going to be getting commentary. Let me go.
You don't live nowhere near the school. You ain't got a kid going to the school. You ain't donate a.
Yeah, you damn right. Ain't no, why would I want? I love my kids. What you talking about? First of all, there is no school, you dummy. What you talking about? You ain't never donated to. Yeah, but I donate to other stuff. I donated to Q Butter School. My wife and I have a budget. We set aside for money to help people out. Each month is in the budget. But why would I send it to you, Umar? You know how much a shame that would be? That would be such a shame to be wasting money on a bum from Philly. That go get my kids a couple of extra sandwiches. Why am I going to send you the money? And no, I ain't going to why. Even if you had a school, first of all, you ain't got no school, but let's say you had one. You think I would I wouldn't send my dog to you. I wouldn't send them geckos over there to you. Or my son's African millipede. I wouldn't even send that to your funky school. What you talking about? You ain't got one in the first place. Anyway, let me stop. I'm not going to comment anymore. I know.
Penny to the school. You just don't want Dr. Umar to be the one to open.
People praying.
What do you mean? What does that? Why would that matter? It's not going to open. You don't know what you're doing. You're sitting up in here, dressing all white with an African medallion on, looking all bummy, eyes bugging, lying about everything. What are you talking about?
And here's the thing. For every detractor, there's a million supporters.
Of course.
The difference is the supporters are mature and reserved. The detractors are immature and aggressive. I mean,
hey, let's be clear about, and I'll talk about this yesterday, what he does. We talked about this yesterday, and here he is right here. Let's be clear about something, Umar. The way I look at it is that anyone who would support you in 2026 and send your bum ass money, they're not mature. Okay? They're not smart either. Okay? You guys know I don't disparage the Umar Johnson followers, but I'm talking about in 2026, they're not bright. You can't be to still be supporting this guy in 2026. Now, if it's back in the day, I get it, but in 2026, no. Okay, but so let's be clear about this, Umar. You can try to frame this narrative that the people who criticize you, that they're immature and all just to degrade. We talked about this yesterday. You can do it all you want to, but we have enough sense not to send our money or our support to a bum from Philly. All right, let's go.
In terms of criticisms, I wouldn't have any for the roster because I'm so supportive of roster because they've been with me at every stage of my journey.
Okay, I guarantee you, he says he doesn't have any criticism, but I guarantee you that he will issue criticisms because that's what Umar Johnson does. Let's keep going.
You know what I mean?
And that's my last comment.
Like literally, they've been with me every stage of my journey. And interestingly enough, when I first went to Africa for the UNIA as Minister of Education 21 years ago, I landed in Ethiopia and I left Ethiopia. So I came in and out of Ethiopia, South Africa.
So what? Who gives a who cares? The only reason why you saying it because it's a roster. Yeah, you know, Ethiopia and Selassie I, you know, that thing. Cut it out. Selassie, I can't remember how they say it, but you know.
Africa, Nigeria, and Senegal, and right back. I came in and out. And I remember
So what? Fish
the
tank?
first night I stayed in Hotel Gihan. First night in Africa, I'll never forget it. And the Ethiopian brother brought me my dinner. And he was so humble. The way he brought my dinner into the room, I broke down and cried.
Yeah, because you felt like you had a slave for the first time. That's what that was. Real talk.
I lie to you not. It was my first night in Africa. I broke down and cried, bro.
He brought you that plate. You were so happy. Oh my God, I finally got a black person to bring me a plate. I'm hungry too. Thank you. Stop, Umar. You're so dramatic. They Joker Bell was like, oh, you sneaky. Let me stop. It's getting late. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here before I say something too far. Let it play because I was about to go off. You
know what I mean? But with that being said, I would say I'm open to any and all collaborations with Rasta. From the outside looking in, I think there needs to be more solidarity amongst the different houses of Rasta, right?
See, here's the criticism.
Now, your Bingy, the 12 Tribe, the Bobo, I would like to see them do more together, right? Because you need that united Rasta presence, the Pan Africanism. So I would like to see that. I also think that in the churchical aspect of Rasta is important because you need your spirituality. But I think we have to balance it out with more political works.
This chat room is crazy. All right. That's everything. Okay. Thank you guys so much. I didn't talk all that much during this live stream. Okay. I'm thankful that I didn't talk as much as I normally do during this live stream, but we got through the 10-minute video. It only took us about 3 hours and 25 minutes, but that's okay. All right. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday. And I do plan on live streaming on Thursday. And at the end of this month, I need to make an announcement, but my schedule is going to be changing significantly. And my wife and I are following our plan, and there'll be some major changes. So I will be talking about that soon. And yeah, we're going to be getting it in. Okay. So we'll be back tomorrow with another live stream. I'll set it up after this live stream is over with. And then I'll also be scheduling one for Thursday. I want to thank the mods for handling business. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I also want to thank everyone who if you sent in super chats, or if you sent in super stickers, or if you sent in gifts during this live stream. I want to thank you guys so much for all of your support. And like I always say, I appreciate it. Okay. You guys come and you show up, and we do fantastic. We still get like 800, 900,000 people here. It's just Umar hasn't been in the algorithm, so we don't get a lot of views after that. But I'm so thankful for those y'all who do come and hang out. We have such a good time, and you guys brought so much joy to my life. And I want to thank you sincerely. Okay, so thank you guys for all the support here on my YouTube page. TJ says, Lenor, you cannot just let it play. I know I'm working on it. Okay, you guys know I've been working on it for years, many months. Thank you, TJ. Also, Rob says, Dr. Slick. Yeah, he's a slick talker. That's for sure. He's slick. He's slick with it, but he ain't fooling me. He ain't fooling the Cookie Crush Chat. I'll tell you that right now. Thanks, Rob. And then Big Dave said, Cookie Crush Chat has motivated more people and created more tangible success than Umar and FDMG, which is really sad if you think about it. Yeah, I agree with this. Like one of the things that we've done here is when people like they're pursuing a degree, or they're pursuing a certification, or they get married, we celebrate success, and it's absolutely awesome. But we can't say that about FDMG. Umar hasn't educated one black child. He hasn't inspired anyone with this FDMG school scam. Real quick, you guys remember King Randall, right? Okay, this is a younger brother. I think he's still in his 20s, but he opened up a school, and it's still functional to this day. And if memory serves me correctly, he made, and this is the last point, give me 2 minutes or less. He made a comment about how not that he was inspired by Umar, but that seeing Umar pursuing opening up a degree, that it motivated him. I'll say it that way. And I'm paraphrasing here, okay? So please don't take this as like exactly what he said, because it's just such a long time ago. And he made another comment about how he wished that people would stop criticizing Umar. Okay, but at that time, he didn't know about Umar. but time told the truth. Umar ended up scamming King Randall. I can't remember how much money. It was 1,000 something, or I can't remember the exact figure, but he scammed him out of money because Umar was supposed to go down there and do a collaboration and talk with the boys at King Randall's school. And Umar asked for an advance. He sent them the advance, and Umar didn't show up. He cancels, and then he refused to refund the money. And then at the end, he called. I can't remember if he called King Randall the N-word or something like that. I can't remember. I think he did. He called. Yeah, I remember something correctly. The point I want to make here, and this is the last point, is that nothing has come out of FDMG. And there are people who even defended Umar, including King Randall back in the day, who believed in Umar. But now he's woken up, and so many other people have. Umar can't celebrate one success dealing with FDMG. King Randall can talk about plenty of success that he's had with his school. And here in the Cookie Crush chat, we can celebrate all types of levels of success that we've had. And I mean, my life is so much different than it was, a decade ago. And I'm so thankful. I'm so appreciative. I'm so thankful, Anyway, thank you guys. Thanks, Big Dave. And good to see you again. Like I said earlier, shout out to the Colts. Okay. One of my favorite football teams back in the day. Okay, when they had Peyton Manning and they had Harrison and the running back, I can't remember, Edgerrin James was his name, I think. Okay. That's LeBron James' brother. No, I'm just playing. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks to everyone inside the chat room. Thanks to the mods for handling business. And again, thank you for everyone who's been supportive of my YouTube page. Okay. All right. Please enjoy the rest of your evening. And as we always do.
Done that video the other day where you talk about your baby mom taking you to child support court. I had to. God forbid, if I die today tomorrow, who gonna tell my daughter that your father loved you? Exactly. And the only reason why he wasn't there because your mom kept him out. Somebody.
I continue
Wrong
with
video.
my message.
Here we go.
Thank you, Sister Avanti, $10 coming on the Cash App. Thank you, sister. Next time, make it 20, but thank you for that 10. I know you barely had that. Thank you, sister.
This is so true. Back in the day, the Cookie Crush chat made me get a new belt. All right, shout out to Black Mario. Next time, make it 20. I appreciate
that $10 donation. I really do. But
Did we get the 500 likes? Yeah, we got the 529 likes. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. Next time, make it 20.
She came up smiling after the program was through. Said, brother, here's $10, I'm supporting you. I looked at the queen and I nodded my head. Said, thank you, sister, then this is what I said.
Next time, make it 20.
Times are hard, I understand. Everybody doing the best they can, but dreams this big take more than hope. Trying to build, not barely cope. Everybody saying, we not fisking flat tires. We not selling water ices. We building institutions, family.
Be highly opinionated. Thank you so much.
We not fisking flat tires. We not selling water ices. We building institutions, family.
Yeah, see you tomorrow, bro.
Next time, make it 20. If the blessings come your way, I appreciate the 10. But here's what I gotta say. Next time, make it 20. Let the whole congregation see.
Thanks to Kilo.
We not fisking flat tires. We building institutions, family. Hey.
Stop.
Oh,
you welcome to Shine. Thank you, sis, for tuning in. Yep.
People asking questions every single day.
Hey, what's up, Tirivera? Hope you're doing all right and progressing in your studies.
How you gonna pay?
Keep us updated. Thanks to Tasha
I say one donation, one dream at a time.
Thank you so much, sis.
Everybody pitching in to help us climb. This ain't about quick fixes. This ain't about little gimmicks.
I don't know. Maybe
trying to leave something standing tall for the next generation and all.
Yeah, BA, thank you.
We not fisking flat tires. We We not selling water ISIS. We building institutions, family.
Oh, cool. Yeah, tell your mama I said hello.
We not selling water ISIS. We
Yeah, peace to you, Afrocentric woman. Much respect, ma'am.
Next time, make it 20. If the blessings come your way, I appreciate the 10.
It's probably true.
But here's what I gotta say. Next time, make it 20. Let the whole congregation see.
Tell them me Patrick. I like Patrick. What's up, D-Will? Yeah.
We building institutions, family.
If Sister Avanti reached out to me, I would send her $20. I sure would. So here, there's that 20.
Institution building.
Next time, make it 10.
What we doing? Building institutions, family.
Sitting out there smoking.
We not fisking flat tires. What else? Ooh. We not selling water ices. One more time. One more time. We doing it. We building institutions, family. Now everybody clap your hands. Left side sing. We not fisking flat tires. Right side sing. Right side sing. Everybody together. We building institutions, family. Next time, make it 20. When prosperity comes through, I appreciate the 10, and I appreciate you too. Yeah. Next time, make it 20. That's the message for today. Yeah. We building institutions, family. And we're doing it all the way. We not fisking flat tires. We not selling water ices. We building institutions, family. We not fisking flat tires. We not selling water ices. We building institutions, family. Next time, make it 20.
All right. Thank you, Black Morrow. Shout out to Black Morrow. All right, you guys, please enjoy the rest of your evening, or if it's this morning, enjoy your day. Okay, we'll be back tomorrow with another live stream. All right. I love y'all and appreciate y'all too. All right. Take care. Peace.